At Oriole Park at Camden Yards, a 7:05 national anthem start time. The Washington National Cathedral's choir will perform the duties as we open up a three-game series in close proximity. Again, a beautiful night for baseball, and it's great to welcome you, Steve Stone, back to one of your former nests, as it were. Welcome back to Baltimore.
It's a little different because when I played here, it was Memorial Stadium, a whole lot different than Oriole Park at Camden Yards, but this is a beautiful ballpark. They started play here in 1992. It's very much a hitter's park. 333 down the left field line. The power alley is just 364 in left center. 373 to right center. The ball will hang up there, and of course a very short porch in right field at 318. But there are some quirks in this ballpark, and Chip, with the skyline of downtown Baltimore in the background, this is a beautiful setting for baseball in Baltimore. And of course the B&O Warehouse off to the distance in the right with the promenade down Utah Street and Boog Powell's Barbecue. It is a wonderful, indeed, baseball setting for a spring night like we have tonight. And hopefully the Cubs will bring their bats with them after that three-game thriller against the New York Yankees at home. The Cubs will line up this way for Dusty Baker in the series opener tonight. Mark Gonzalez leads off at second base, followed by Alex Gonzalez at short. Corey Patterson, the team homer and RBI leader, hits third. Sammy Sosa had his appeal heard today. He hits fourth. Alou, the designated hitter today, with Karros at first, Troy O'Leary in left, Lenny Harris at third base, and Paul Bacco, the catcher, will hit ninth. Pitchers do not hit in the American League ballparks. They hope, though, to hit Pat Henkin tonight. There's a look at Pat Henkin. Gone are the days when he can throw the fastball by you. He still depends on an overhand curve, and if his control isn't good, he's going to give up a whole lot of runs. And the Cubs are hoping to take advantage of that and the very cozy dimensions here in Baltimore. Mark Gonzalez to work, and Henkin delivers a quick strike. Terry Kraft is our home plate umpire. Mark bringing a 5-game hit streak into play tonight. Has that batting average, as you see, over 300 again. What might come into play is the left side of the Oriole infield. They don't have tremendous mobility with Bautista and Cruz. If Tony Bautista can get his hands on it, he usually makes the play, but he's got limited range left and right. The same thing can be said about Cruz, who is having a fine offensive year. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Cub leadoff man, and Gonzalez flirts with that 318 sign down the right field line here in Baltimore. One of the great quirks of this ballpark is for a gentleman who hit home run balls out onto Utah Street, and that's spelled E-U-T-A-W. As Mark pops that a mile high, let's see if Heel can make the play behind the dish. And he will. 1 up and 1 man down. Those home run clouts are christened with a bronze star, and only 1 man has hit the warehouse. That, of course, Ken Griffey Jr. in the All-Star game several years back. Alex Gonzalez hitting .251 with 5 home runs. And there's a line drive to right at Gibbons, though. And he makes the play easily. And let's check out the rest of the defensive lineup for Baltimore tonight. The O's defense is just okay with Mora, Matos, and Gibbons left to right. Bautista, Cruz, Roberts, and Conine in the infield. Heel behind the plate. Pat Henkin on the mound. Geronimo Heel has a very strong arm, and he's getting a whole lot better behind the plate. And you're going to like Brian Roberts at second base. Here's Patterson. Corey really blossoming this season with the Cubs, hitting .322 and approaching his season totals for all of last year already. Another line drive to right, and that's an easy play for Gibbons. 3 up, 3 down for the Cubs in the first. To the mound comes Shawn Estes here in Baltimore.
Nice work. Hit the road.
Lights out. Time to go home.
Where do you think you're going? Fran, you're staying late.
Chevy's getting the word out. Now get 0% APR for 60 months on every 2003 Chevy Suburban and Tahoe. Or get $3,000 cash back.
Stevens, get back to work. Slacker.
The CR-V, the Odyssey, and the Pilot from Honda. Different sizes and shapes to fit different lifestyles. But they are as much the same as they are different. Each is a leader in its class in safety, low emissions, and fuel economy, and all were named among the 5 best trucks by Car and Driver for the 2nd year in a row. So no matter which truck you choose, you'll have made the right choice. Happy choosing from Honda.
Being in real estate means I get to do what I do best. Talk. Nights, Saturdays, Saturday evenings, Sundays, Sunday brunch. I talk all the time. But I do listen.
Singular is offering 5,000 night and weekend minutes plus 525 anytime rollover minutes starting at $39.99 per month. Buy one color phone and get a second one free.
I like to call it the Don Cody Can I Interest You in a 2-Bedroom Condo plan.
Come into Singular now to find the plan that fits you best.
Fans around baseball wondering what kind of reception Sammy Sosa would get on the road after the corked bat incident. He got a standing ovation as he took his position in right field for the bottom half of our first inning here at Camden Yards, Steve.
Well, certainly there's a lot of fans out in right center field and down the right field line that appreciated Sammy Sosa getting their first look at him. And a lot of the O's will be getting their first look at Shawn Estes as he goes to the mound.
And this is the lineup Shawn will face. Brian Roberts leads off at second base. The AL top hitter, Melvin Mora, is the second hitter. Segui, Conine, and Gibbons. Then it's Batista, Matos, Cruz, and Heel, the catcher, batting ninth. And Shawn Estes looks to snap a 2-game losing streak tonight.
He's looking for win number 6. The ERA well up there, and the opponent's hitting .318. And this is a tough park in which to struggle.
And Brian Roberts, a product of the University of South Carolina, digs in and takes a ball inside. Switch hitting middle infielder, who in the past has had defensive problems for Baltimore.
He's hit very well from the left side, right-handed. He's only had 4 at-bats. Jerry Hairston Jr. has been their longtime second baseman, but he's been hurt.
Bouncing ball to Gonzalez, 2 steps to his right, and it's 1 up, 1 man down.
We'll take a look at the defense and how they'll line up behind Shawn Estes. And it's O'Leary, Patterson, and Sosa left to right with Harris, Gonzalez, Grzelcyk, and Karros. Paul Bacco behind the plate. And Shawn Estes on the hill. And here's one of the guys they have to contend with, Melvin Mora, who along with Tony Batista gives them a couple of guys who can really put a charge into the ball from the right side.
He's hitting .365. That's tops in the American League. He has a 20-game hitting streak. And what's really remarkable about Melvin Mora and where his value is, he doesn't really have a set position. He's played 5 different spots for Baltimore, including, of course, the designated hitter role.
Bear in mind, this is a guy hit just .233 last year. He's had 2 or 3 injury-plagued seasons, but not so this year. And they're somewhat surprised at not only the batting average, but the fact that he's had tremendous power.
9 home runs. He's knocked in 28 men. And Estes changed him up. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, talking with Mike Hargrove, the skipper of the Baltimore Orioles and longtime Indian manager before he came here, he said that Mora actually would probably be a better National League player because of his versatility.
Over in the American League, of course, there's not really that many opportunities to flip-flop the batting order, as the pitcher doesn't come into play offensively. And secondly, if you pinch hit for your DH at any point in the game, then the pitcher does have to hit. A severe disadvantage in this league. 2-2 to Mora, and he takes high, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Segui waits next here in the bottom of the first inning in Baltimore.
This is an Oriole team almost devoid of speed with Jerry Hairston Jr. out of the lineup.
Line drive, left center field. It's a 21-game hit streak. So Mora's aboard for the first time tonight. And that'll bring up David Segui, the DH.
21-game streak. And that shows you why, because he didn't try to pull that ball. It was low and away, hit it right back up the middle. And this Oriole team has surprised a lot of people at just 3 under 500. Another switch hitter in the lineup, David Segui, who's got a whole lot more pop from the left side than the right. He is a double play target. He's had a bad knee and he's not running quite as well as he once did.
Baltimore coming off a 1-5 road trip to the National League cities. They were really concerned, Steve, about how well they'd hit on their 6-game trip. They hit just fine with the pitcher batting in their lineup. The problem was their starters and their bullpen had a terrible time holding leads and getting leads, quite frankly.
Well, they've had a great run from Sidney Ponson. Just about everybody else has struggled somewhat, so the starting rotation has been iffy. Omar Dahl at 4 and 6. Rick Helling at 3 and 4 with an ERA over 6, but Sidney Ponson at 8 and 3, an ERA below 4. He's been the star of this team that really doesn't have a number 1 or 2 starter. They have a lot of 3s and 4s if you look up and down.
Dangerous pitch, 2-0, and Segui pops it up into right field. Sammy Sosa has an easy play, and he makes it. And that'll bring up Jeff Conine. He was a longtime National League performer who's found a home here in Baltimore.
You might remember him from the Florida Marlins. He'll get hot and he'll be able to carry a club for a while, but he's not a middle of the order guy consistently. Here he's the cleanup hitter, not really a number 4 type hitter. Also at one point a world-class racquetball player, but that was a few years ago. Conine playing first base because they want to keep Segui healthy.
Segui, a fine defensive first baseman, but again with the knee problems, it's been a real problem for them. With the left-hander Estes on, they give Conine the defensive and offensive slot. Hitting 4th tonight, 44 RBIs, 7 home runs for him. Scoreless game, bottom half of our first inning. Conine pops that into the Oriole dugout and scatters his teammates.
The way to pitch here in Baltimore is make sure that they don't hit it down either line. And to do that to the right-handers, if you can just stay away and force him to hit it to the spacious dimensions in center and left center field, if you have a center fielder that can go get him, and Corey can, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
2 quick strikes to Conine. Instead, Estes will make the peg to first. Baltimore enters play tonight, 29-32. They're a 500 club here at home, 14 up and 14 down.
And the third base coach, very familiar to the Cubs. It's Tom Trebelhorn, former Cub manager.
No balls, 2 strikes. Upstairs, Baltimore enters play 6 games out of first place in the East. Yankees enter play a half game behind Boston for the top spot, and not surprisingly, Juan Acevedo's tenure with New York ended abruptly today. One-two pitch backs him off the plate.
Well, Juan will always remember his Wrigley Field stint in a Yankee uniform. Had a couple of bad innings, and now he's looking for other employment. As the boss, George Steinbrenner, probably wasn't real happy with the outcome of those 2 pitching performances.
Wonder if Roger Clemens drove him to the airport. 2-2. Ground ball back to Estes at the mound, and he will work a scoreless first. On to the second we go with Sammy Sosa coming up next.
Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country.
Free to move about the country.
Introducing Rain-X Car Wax. The same transparent polymer technology that makes our windshield treatment so effective now keeps your whole car protected from rain, dirt, UV rays, and more. There's almost nothing Rain-X Wax won't protect your car from. Almost. New Rain-X Car Wax. Protection you can see.
The Hyundai Sonata, ranked most appealing entry midsize car. More standard features than a Toyota Camry LE, including a V6 engine. All for over $2,400 less when comparably equipped. Add in America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, and you win. Test drive the Hyundai Sonata, starting at just $15,539. at your Hyundai dealer. Hurry in and get a 2003 Sonata with $1,000 cash back or 0% APR at your local Hyundai dealer.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's new cable company.
The signs notwithstanding, pretty loud boos for Sosa with some applause as he takes his first turn at bat here in the second inning.
He's never had a hit against Pat Hankin. That will end tonight. He's going to get a hit.
Cubs would love to see him rediscover the home run stroke. His last home run the 1st of May.
Well, you would think if Hankin throws that high fastball, he won't be able to throw it by Sammy.
He's gone up and away twice now. To Mr. Sosa. High fly ball, left center field, pretty deep, and that ball is off the fence. Nice play in center. Sosa chugging for second. He'll slide in safely, overslid the bag, but maintain enough contact to record a leadoff double.
Well, Chippy, you just knew that when Hankin fell behind, he'd eventually throw him a high fastball, and Sammy hit it off the wall. So that's the first hit in 8 at-bats lifetime against Hankin. That looked like he tried to cut the fastball, but Sammy hit it awfully hard and just missed a home run. Good play at second base. Sammy just able to make it back. And Roberts wisely keeps the ball on him, but Jake Clem, the umpire, right on the play, and the Cubs in business here in the second.
For the designated hitter, Moises Alou, hitting .295 on the year. And a line drive into center. That ball's going to drop safely. Sosa had to hang on to make sure it wasn't caught out there by the Orioles center fielder Matos. And so 2 men are on with nobody out.
Sammy probably should have taken another couple of feet on this lead, and he might have been able to go to third base. You see him leaning back toward the bag. That's not what you really want to do. He wants to have a little momentum going toward third. When he sees the ball drop, make it, but he stays right at second. So the Cubs have 2 hits, 2 on, and the man in this lineup that's really crushed Hankin, Eric Karros, coming up.
3 for 6 lifetime. All 3 of those hits home runs. The Cubs would love a quick lead here. Pop up, out of play. Speaking of home runs, we're participating tonight in the Cap Cure Home Run Challenge. Every home run hit raises $20,000 from your pledges for prostate cancer research. If you'd like to make a pledge, please call 800-547-CURE.
Eric Karros is the Cubs representative.
Over the corner, 0-2 your count.
Hankin's been around a long time. Signed in organized ball in 1986, made it to the big leagues for the first time in '91 with Toronto. Then with St. Louis in 2000, and here with Baltimore in 2001.
There's the big breaker. It didn't go. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Henkin wanted that pitch, but Terry Kraft said not this time.
The best year for Pat Hankin by far, 1996, 20-10 with the Blue Jays. And he threw 10 complete games that year.
1-2. Evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Double by Sosa, single by Alou, looped into center field, puts 2 men on with nobody out.
Remember, this is not the best defensive club around, and Conine's made 7 errors at first base.
He's run the count full after jumping ahead 0-2. Troy O'Leary, who's had by far the most at-bats against Henkin, is the man waiting to hit next.
Troy, longtime Boston Red Sox, faced Hankin a whole lot of times when he was a Blue Jay.
3-2 pitch. And Karros protects the plate, skies that into the upper deck. Surprisingly, Steve, a lot of empty seats for the opener of this series so far.
Well, they tell us, Chip, that despite the fact there are empty seats, this is one of the better crowds they've had. So this is a ballpark that used to be filled up. They've fallen on some hard times as a team, and consequently, the attendance has been down.
Well, you think back, of course, Cal Ripken Jr., Robbie Alomar, Davey Johnson was the manager here. The Orioles were one of the elite teams in baseball. They've fallen on hard times, and they're trying to rebuild through the farm system now.
Well, they've had to do it with a lot of help from the system, and they've made pretty good trades.
3-2 again. Karros, a bullet fair, and to the left field corner. Here comes Sammy around third. He'll score. Mora up quickly. Alou to third. Karros to second, and the Cubs lead by a run. 3 straight hits to open up the second inning.
When you know you can hit a guy, it seems like he always makes a mistake. And Karros ran the count to 3-2 before taking this one right down the line. Hankins' fastball doesn't have a whole lot on it, and it's very straight. This double down the line yields RBI number 12. The Cubs have a 1-0 lead, and Hankin in all kinds of problems as Mark Wiley goes to the hill, but he just wants Hankin to take a break. Chip, right now, after Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago, Pat Hankin doesn't have a whole lot to get by hitters anymore. He's got to fool them with craft and guile, and he's running out of craft tonight.
But in his defense, there is a craft behind the plate. He's the umpire. And Terry hasn't had too many chances to call strike 1, strike 2, or strike 3 as the Cubs, with 3 straight hits here in the second inning, have a 1-0 lead.
And there's a few guys around town that thought perhaps the Cubs would experience a letdown after that very emotional series against the Yankees. Well, so far they haven't, and I'm not thinking they will. This is a team that perhaps came together in that Yankee series. Joe Borowski talked about it. There's a different feeling around the clubhouse. We saw it in spring training. And right now, this team, 1 game back of Houston, is starting to play some of its best baseball.
1 ball, no strikes to O'Leary. Breaking ball, base hit to center field. That'll score Alou. Karros around third, gets the green light. Here's the throw to the plate. It short hops heel and is in plenty of time. Wavin Wendell sends Eric Karros. Matos with a very accurate arm makes a perfect throw. Orioles execute fundamentally, but not before the Cubs score their second run, and on the play, O'Leary into second base.
Mike Hargrove told us that Matos doesn't have an overpowering arm, but he's very accurate. And with nobody out, Wendell Kim decides to gamble, and Karros, without great speed, is out by plenty. He comes chugging around. The throw, 1 hop right to heel. Karros is out easily.
So 4 straight hits. The Cubs run into the first out of the frame, leading by 2 for Harris. And Lenny, off his thumbs, pops that ball to third. And here's what you were alluding to, Stoney, about the way this Cub team has come together. In many years past, and this is not meant at all as a knock on Sammy Sosa, but whatever Sammy Sosa did was how this Cubs team fared. This is really a 25-man team, and they are able to overcome an off night from any player. And they do care an awful lot about each other. Perhaps that was demonstrated most with 7 or 8 guys going to see Hee-Seop Choi at the hospital after he suffered his concussion the other day before the Cubs headed on the road to play Baltimore.
Dusty Baker also went to see him and gave him a picture drawn by his son Darren. That's Darren's favorite player, Big Choi as they call him. So everybody pretty much pulling together, and chemistry comes with a lot of wins and a lot of runs scored and a lot of good pitching performances. But this Cub team is starting to learn how to win as a team, and it's going to be a different guy just about every day.
That's what you want, as Henkin wants a new sign. Heel will go out. Get on the same page with the veteran right-handers. You look at Baco. 7 of those RBIs came against Cincinnati. We'd like to welcome our affiliate, Mediacom, and their viewers in Chillicothe, Illinois, to Oriole Park at Camden Yards, known affectionately as the house Steve Stone built. Cubs leading by 2 here in our second inning. Breaking ball bounced off the plate. Heel will make the play, throws low, it's off the glove of Conine. That ball was rolling foul. He took a chance, and the Cubs get a break on an 0-2 pitch. The inning stays alive as Baco reaches.
I think they might give him a base hit. Heel really didn't have any angle on the throw, and I think what Mike Hargrove is going to say is that Paul Baco was out of the baseline. Now we'll watch it again. He was on the inside of the baseline, and Hargrove's going to lose that. Now we'll have to see if it is a hit or an error. And apparently they're giving him a base hit.
So 5 hits in the frame for the Cubs. Now you bring Gonzalez, one of the hottest hitters on the team, to the plate with men at the corners and 2 men out.
Along with Eric Karros, Gonzalez has really tormented Hankin over the course of his career.
There's a strike. 0-1 to the Cubs' second baseman, Mark Gonzalez. Two runs is nice, but it's not much in this league. You've got to score 4 or 5 consistently to win in the American League. More likely 5, sometimes even 6. With this Baltimore team, they can put the bat on the baseball.
When you can build your lineup around a designated hitter, you can bet that you have to leave spring training knowing that you're going to have to score 750 to 800 runs, maybe more, just to be in contention.
Baco was leaning, and he just did get back. The left side of the Oriole defense thought they had him picked off on the fake the third throw to first play.
Well, if they pick Paul off on this one, you might as well just keep going, because he's not going anywhere, and yet he was completely fooled. I would say allow one of your hitters to hit. Don't worry about the stolen base.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball sharply hit. Easy pickup over there for Roberts. Bad throw, but Conine spears it. And the Cubs settle for 2 on 5 hits in the second inning.
Madre de Dios, where civilization ends and you can enjoy solitude like no other place on earth, because Madre de Dios is uninhabitable.
Are you tough enough to drive a Tacoma?
Your old windows giving you a workout? Replacing them is as easy as calling 1-866-4-FELDCO. All Feldco replacement windows are custom made and custom installed, always at a great price. 100,000 customers like our style. Tired of wrestling windows?
I'll take the phone now.
Call 1-866-4-FELDCO for a free estimate. Feldco replacement windows. Showrooms north and south.
And now with a late-breaking story, here's Suzanne.
Thanks, Tom. As the volcano continues to erupt, we take you live to correspondent John Ryland, who's at the scene. John, what's the situation?
Suzanne, as you can see behind me, the lava is covering an area of about 2 square miles. It's a bad situation, but I do have good news.
What's that, John?
I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Start your Sunday with NASCAR This Morning. Get the inside track from the pre-race show that'll have your motor running before the green flag drops. NASCAR This Morning on Fox Sports Net.
Some critics are calling the best sports show period a 2-hour frat party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. Tonight, Gary Sheffield and John Smoltz of the Atlanta Braves will stop by for a visit, along with Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith. Best sports show period after our always exciting postgame on Fox Sports.
Gary Sheffield making a strong run for the MVP. And John Smoltz is the reason why Atlanta is waving bye-bye to everybody in the East, because when he comes into the game, pretty much that's about it.
Here's Jay Gibbons. 2 balls and a strike. And playing right field, a Rule 5 draft pick from the Toronto organization. So that man hit 28 home runs last season for Baltimore. And right field, 318 feet away. You can understand why he'd have home success.
Well, he was a real interesting story, because when they did get him as a Rule 5, he came up and hit double-figure home runs. When they didn't figure he was going to play at all, he should have probably been in Double-A. So then last year they figured he would be in AAA because they didn't have to send him back if they kept him, but he just started hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and he hasn't stopped since. They think that he's going to wind up to be a terrific player, and of course his style is perfect for this ballpark. So this is the guy you really have to worry about. Tony Bautista, who has a most unusual batting style with a wide open stance. but his first stride is toward the plate, and he can put a charge into it.
I mean, it's just amazing that he has enough dexterity to get the bat through the zone. It looks like Paul Bunyan ready to take a vicious swipe at a redwood tree.
Well, nobody quite has that style. It's not only wide open, but he's almost facing the pitcher full on.
That one hit in the air to center field. Anderson broke in, now drifts back. Ballpark playing a little smaller than the dimensions so far tonight. It is carrying well out toward the bullpens, and Batista flies out, one away.
I talked with David Segui before the game, and he told me that the ball hasn't been flying here this year, but in batting practice today, he thought the park was a whole lot livelier. And talking with my former catcher, former teammate Rick Dempsey, who was the MVP of the World Series in 1983, he said that despite the fact this appears to be a small ballpark, at least this year, he goes, it's been very fair.
Matos looks at the ball. They've finagled with the dimensions here. They've moved the playing field around, trying to come up with a way to make it fair for everybody. You look at 364 and 373 in the alleys, and pitchers have nightmares. It's hard to find a more picturesque venue than this in this league.
It certainly is gorgeous. And we pan around and show you what downtown Baltimore looks like. Blue Paul barbecue stand over the right field wall.
We'll take two. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matos.
Last year, Matos was up briefly. Spent most of the year at Bowie, where he showed some but not a whole lot of power. Only hit 129 for Baltimore, but then again he only played in 17 games. But this year so far, been a good year for him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 away, and the breaking ball misses high and away. The Orioles were telling us, Mike Hargrove, before the game, they brought him up because a lot of guys were hurt, and they felt that it may have impeded his progress just a bit because he was here 2 or 3 years earlier than he should have been. But out of necessity, they brought him to the big leagues, and only now is he playing the way they thought he would be able to. He's filled in nicely for the likes of B.J. Surhoff. And that time he cut through it and misses it for the first strikeout of the game for Estes. Runner at first, 2 away now for Davy Cruz, the shortstop.
This is the key to the performance for Shawn Estes. He's got to get this breaking ball in the zone, and when you get a hit of hitters, you can drop it out of the zone and you force him to swing. Now, Davy Cruz has been somewhat surprising because this is a guy that never was known for a whole lot of power, but he's shown power this year.
Fans might remember Cruz last year with San Diego. At 263, 15 errors at the shortstop position.
But just 7 home runs, Chip, in 514 at-bats. That was the year production.
He's got 829 driven in already, and we're not into the 3rd week of June yet.
I think they're somewhat surprised by the emergence of Cruz because now they can play Melvin Mora, who does play shortstop. They can move him in the outfield and use him as a swingman.
No balls and a strike. 1-1 your count. In a perfect world, Baltimore would love Scott Erickson to come back and pitch like he did in the mid to late 90s.
Pretty tough to do with all the arm problems he's had, but he had one of the great sinkers ever for Baltimore.
And that's what they need, a number 1, maybe a number 2 starter. They don't have that now, and they don't have the lead either. 2-0 Cubs after 2 tonight in Baltimore.
Announcing the Ford authorized tent sale going on now at your local Ford store. For a limited time, get huge savings on Ford's best-selling vehicles. Choose 0% financing or $2,500 to $3,000 cash back on Focus and ZX2. Plus, current Ford owners get an extra $500 cash back on both. Only Ford can authorize savings like this. The Ford authorized tent sale happens only once a year, so hurry in for the Ford authorized tent sale. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
certified Castle Buick Pontiac GMC has been Chicagoland's first choice for over 22 years. Rain, snow, or shine, shop indoors in our 35,000 square foot showroom. Choose from over 500 new and used vehicles in stock. And always get the best service and the best prices right up front. Come see how car shopping should be. And don't forget, before you buy, come see the Castle Guy.
Before you buy, see the Castle Guy. Castle Buick Pontiac GMC.
Why is Shooter's Chicagoland's favorite buffet? For one, light eaters really appreciate the incredible salad bar, fresh pasta salads, delicious fish, and stir fry. Meat eaters go wild for Shooter's freshly sliced meats, chicken, and dozens of side dishes. Kids get to eat all of their favorite foods. Singles, couples, and families of all sizes love Shooter's buffet. Whether you're a light eater or have a hearty appetite, Shooter's is the affordable choice every day of the week. Harwood Heights, Homewood, and Glendale Heights.
The Cubs look to extend their 2-run lead here as we move to our 3rd inning. Second time through the lineup now against Pat Henkin. Cubs had good luck in the second. Both runs, all 5 of their hits against the Oriole veteran right-handed moundsman. There's a strike over the outside corner to Alex, longtime American League performer. He knows the ins and outs of this park after playing so many years with the Blue Jays.
Amazingly enough, he never faced Henkin because they were teammates. He is very familiar with American League Baseball, and he talked about the problems of going to the artificial surface where we're going in Toronto next.
Yeah, the Cubs will miss the artificial surface in Montreal. We will be going to Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan. Philadelphia still has the fake grass. And Toronto, the only other spot for us. The place else we play, thankfully, has natural surface.
It's going to be a whole lot different for the infielders, especially guys not used to playing a whole lot on the artificial surface. This, however, in Baltimore, talking with some of the coaches, is a very fast infield surface.
3-1 pitch, hammered left center field pretty deep. Mora and Matos converge. That's at the wall. Leaping try, and it is gone into the seats.
I think no, they're calling it a home run. I guess the fan touched it. It bounced up in the air, and Matos actually made the catch, but it's after a fan that touched it.
How about the hustle by Jay Clem, the second base umpire? He was 10 feet away from the warning track to see if the fans reached over. All you can ask for is great hustle by the men in black. Clem provided it, got the call right.
Pretty interesting play because it looked like Mora might have gotten a glove on it. We'll watch it again and slow it down for you. Mora there to try to make the attempt. He didn't get a glove on it. The fans just kicked it up in the air, and then Matos made the catch. But the Cubs have another run.
So Alex hits his 6th home run. 3-0 Cubs have the lead, and Henkin is getting shelled, and the bullpen starts to work already for Mike Hargrove tonight. That home run from Alex provides another $20,000 in support of prostate cancer research. And Gibbons in right can't make a play there. Patterson will round second. Look at him fly. He'll head for third. The throw not in time. Corey Patterson, his 7th triple of the year.
Think that if you're Mike Hargrove, you would really be concerned about Henkin because he doesn't have anything tonight. And although he's struggled in the past, the Cubs aren't letting him get away with any mistakes. This is a pretty good pitch, and Corey Patterson tattoos it off the right field wall. And now Sammy Sosa with an opportunity to drive in run number 28. Perhaps 29 if he gets out in front of one.
So the Cubs have already hit for the cycle in this game. They lead by 3. They have a man at third, nobody out. Sosa nearly hit a home run his first time up. He doubled off the left center field wall, and Mora and Matos are going to need some oxygen before the 4th inning. They've been running all over the place.
That's Rick Bauer throwing in the bullpen. Hargrove would hate to go to the bullpen this early, but he might not have much of any choice with Henkin throwing what he's throwing.
Sosa pops that out of play. Henkin starting out of necessity for Baltimore. This is 7 consecutive starts for him, Steve. He's got a 6-point ERA as a starting pitcher. Much more respectable ERA of 3.5 as a reliever, although that came early in the season when the entire Baltimore staff was pitching a whole lot more effectively. Strike 3 call in the inside corner. Sosa's down.
Sammy not real happy with the call of Terry Kraft. But he gets a deciding vote as Hankin paints the inside corner. That's where Heel wants it. I think Sammy thought it was high. It had part of the plate. And now you have to deal with Moises Alou with the infield in. And Chip, they got real good news from Rodrigo Lopez, who's going to come back and probably take the spot of Hankin.
Here's Alou with a man at third. He hits a fly ball to center field. Matos has already thrown out one man. There's the catch. Patterson tags. Look at that throw. Right on target, but late. Great speed by Patterson. And Alou puts the bat on the baseball with Corey streaking home from third. It's now a 4-0 game.
Well, the biggest difference is it's almost the same throw by Matos. But instead of Eric Karros, it's Corey Patterson. And he's got tremendous speed and makes it easily. So Moises does exactly what he has to do. Look for something up in the zone and drive home another run. The Cubs have what's not a comfortable lead, but a pretty good lead early in this one.
4-0 in the third. And Karros closing in on 1,000 RBIs in his career. Needs 12 of those. Picked up his 4th career hit against Henkin lifetime with a ringing double in the second. It's downstairs, ball 2. 2-0. Other baseball. The Cardinals are at Fenway Park tonight, meeting the Red Sox for the first time since the '67 World Series. Houston is in New York to play the Yankees.
And the Yankees, of course, with the departure of Juan Acevedo, probably going to play much better baseball. So hopefully they can knock off the Astros.
3 balls and a strike. Well, hey, we hope Charles Gibson has much better base running luck against Houston than he did against the Cubs.
That's when you want to dig yourself a hole and just climb in it.
Well, he tried to after that play. Very Lance Johnson-esque play. Cubs fans will remember a couple of years ago. Karros 2 for 2, and that'll bring up Troy O'Leary, an RBI single himself last time up.
We talk about the importance of Rodrigo Lopez. Last year, 15-9 for an Oriole team with an ERA of 3.57. And he's been hurt all of this year. Now, in the last rehab start, he fanned 13 men in 6 2/3 innings. So he's ready to go. And they can't get him back soon enough because he's one of the guys on this team that can provide them with a pretty good start every time out. So this Oriole team probably not going to win it this year. They're not built to win it and compete with New York and Boston, but they're a lot better than most people thought they'd be.
1 ball, 1 strike. Interesting decision for Peter Angelos and the rest of the Oriole front office. Final year of Mike Hargrove's contract.
And they have a new general manager, a co-general manager system.
Which is very unique.
Jim Beattie and Mike Flanagan. Jim Beattie will talk to Mike Flanagan about front office protocol, and Mike Flanagan, a teammate of mine and Cy Young Award winner in 1979, doing a pretty nice job with a team that he helped as a pitching coach and a broadcaster.
O'Leary pops that up left side. Batista, long run, still going. Lots of foul ground here and a valiant effort, but he can't make the play, and O'Leary gets another swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, talking with a lot of these guys down on the field associated with the Baltimore organization, they said that Mike Flanagan understands the game. He's learning on a daily basis, and they feel eventually he's going to be a pretty good general manager. And they had some question as to the delegation of authority, but both Beattie and Flanagan have done a real good job of communicating with Mike Hargrove. And these guys are probably on the right track, although in the East, it's real tough when you see what Boston and New York can spend on a payroll and realize with attendance, maybe 2/3 of where it should be, it's difficult to match them dollar for dollar.
No matter how deep the pockets of your managing partner are. And that's over the outside corner. O'Leary takes strike 3, but not before the Cubs strike for 2 more in the 3rd inning. 4-0 is our score in Baltimore.
Counting down.
Measuring traffic congestion.
Here we go.
Tickets for the Red Boys now on sale. Call now. Pick up the phone. Call now.
One concert could generate hundreds of thousands of calls in an instant. At SBC, if we can handle hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes, we can handle the Rad Boys. Ready for anything.
Hello? Any more tickets?
SBC.
A million uses and counting. The 210 horsepower supercharged Nissan Xterra.
Robert Jensen. Don Jones.
Could you widen out and get my Emily? We're gonna get one of those. We're just waiting for them to go on sale. That's great. Now zoom in on her.
You don't have to wait. With Circuit City's Price Match Plus guarantee, if you find a lower advertised price within 30 days of purchase, we'll give you back 110% of the price difference. Circuit City, we're with you.
Okay, you two do something. That's great.
Cubs fans, enjoy a drink with your friends before, during, or after the game at the Friendly Confines. Near the corner of Addison and Sheffield, the Friendly Confines offers easy access in and out of the game. Enjoy Cubs ambience inside or order from the grill and relax in the outdoor patio.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles.
ShopCubs.com for the broadest selection of Cubs merchandise. Cubs.com is the official site of wearing your heart on your sleeve, cap pullover, and a whole lot more. There are the upcoming homestands for the Cubs as we move into the middle of the month of June. Geronimo Gil, the Baltimore catcher, might have broken his bat as we head to the bottom of the third inning, and it's a real treat for us with the Cap Cure Home Run Challenge taking place to welcome Michael Milken and Terry Steinbach to our broadcast booth here in Baltimore. Gentlemen, nice to see you all.
Thank you very much. Well, it's great to be here, particularly with the two all-time leading home run hitters in our 7-year program, Karros and Sosa, on the Cubs.
Well, tell us a little bit about, over the 7 years, how much baseball and you guys have raised for the Cap Cure.
Well, 7 years ago, Terry Steinbach helped us kick it off by getting Major League Baseball players and then managers, and eventually led to umpires and grounds crew to support this increased awareness for prostate cancer. And it's gone a long way to reducing the death rate from prostate cancer over the past 7 years.
Bob Fowler out of play. Gil will stay alive. A ball, 2 strikes.
And I guess what people at home want to know, Michael, is just exactly how does it work and how is it funded, and after they hit home runs, what happens?
Well, first, anyone can participate. You can call in 1-800-547-CURE. 1-800-547-CURE. There's 60 ball games, and you can pledge as little as a dime. And we've had a person pledge as much as $10,000 a home run. And we had last year 126 home runs. So if you pledged $1, that would have been $126.
2 strikeouts for Estes as Gil goes down swinging.
Well, unfortunately, I'm no longer pitching because I used to throw them very long and very often. And if I was in this park, there's no telling because I had no sinker, and this looks like a pretty easy park to hit a home run.
That's what Terry said. He was a little disappointed when he found out you were not going to pitch tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, Terry, this has to be exciting for you, too, because all of that bad catching, you get to see the mistakes the guy behind the plate calls for, and it ends up being a real good cause.
Absolutely. I thought at first, it was bad to give up home runs, but after I got involved with the program, I mean, honestly, for the week of Father's Day, there might have been a little tendency to call a few more fastballs to some of those power hitters so we can generate some more money.
Now, how much traveling are you two doing with regards to this? I know, Michael, I've seen you in several different ballparks. Terry, the same story here over Father's Day?
Yes, I'm joining the tour, as we call it right now, and I'm going to partake in Baltimore, New York, and Boston. And basically, we just want to try to get the awareness, to get the message out there of what Cap Cure is all about and the monies that are generated for prostate cancer research.
Ball and a strike to Brian Roberts. Good breaking ball.
100% of all money we raise goes to prostate cancer research around the country. Baltimore, as a team, has hit the second most home runs after Detroit of any team during this program.
Well, that's going to end over the next 3 days. Nothing personal.
Well, their management wanted to run the program at all times.
I see. Well, hey.
They would average about 300 home runs a season if we could get this program running full time. But the death rate from prostate cancer has dropped by almost 40%.
chopped off the plate. That's a Baltimore chop. Estes, barehanded play. How about that? Can we get a donation for a defensive gem like that?
Well, that was good, but we haven't worked those in yet, have we, Terry?
No. We're staying with the offensive categories.
So the increased awareness coupled with Capcure's funding of 1,100 different research programs around the world has helped to contribute to a reduction almost 40% below what the National Cancer Institute had originally projected. A lot of that research goes into the Baltimore area, and a lot of that research money goes into Chicago, where there's some great programs in prostate cancer research in both cities.
Michael and Terry, we really appreciate being allowed to participate. We encourage our viewers and baseball fans everywhere to participate. Hopefully the Cubs and Orioles will swing away and hit a lot of home runs in this series, and we wish you two gentlemen all the best in your future endeavors, and hopefully we can knock out prostate cancer.
We sure do. And last Saturday in Chicago with Dusty Baker and Joe Torre, managers have both been two of our lead managers in this program over the last 6-7 years.
Well, unfortunately, as we get older, we become much more aware of prostate cancer and prevention, and of course getting checked. So we're going to show the number one more time. You can participate at home in this, and it really doesn't matter what you pledge. Just make the phone call.
Right. Our most we ever had was 160, but most of the time it averages about 130. And we try to explain to Dusty on Saturday how important it was to have Karros in the lineup.
Well, he came through for you today. He's got a couple of hits in RBI.
Well, and he came through for the Cubs on Saturday also.
That's it. A very big
and
game.
And the all-time home run hitter is not playing for Baltimore tonight. Their leading home run hitter in the Capcure program was Albert Bell, who isn't playing anymore with us.
No, he's playing it at my golf course in Scottsdale right now and not hitting any home runs, but he'll be happy to know that he is driving them awfully long.
Well, if he doesn't hit them over 300, we'd be pretty disappointed. But what was done in the awareness efforts that culminates on Father's Day, and our theme has been keep dad in the game. Take your dad to a ball game, take your friend, take your next door neighbor, take your buddy. And as the great American sport, we've also found that a little sunlight, vitamin D, seems to also decrease the rate of prostate cancer. So luckily, it's one of the few sports you get to go outside and watch a game.
Well, anything to help, guys. We, again, appreciate your time being here tonight. Good luck in your travels, Terry. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much
for your support.
And we appreciate all your help.
Thanks for wearing your little blue ribbon.
Our producers made us do it. We were happy to help.
And we'll look forward to seeing you on Father's Day.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Terry. Great to see you both. Baltimore batting here in the bottom of our third inning. A man at first, Mora with 2 outs. And David Segui, the hitter. 2 balls, no strikes to him. Hot shot to short. Alex will go the short way to second. And the third inning is in the books with the Cubs leading by 4.
About the country.
Grace.
Edward.
Your eyes sparkle like
halogen headlamps.
Only when I look at you.
There's something about you. Your hair, your smile.
Your sticker price.
Now get 0% APR for 60 months on every 2003 Chevy Malibu and Impala. Or get $3,000 cash back.
Oh, Edward.
Take me to your leader.
That's dealer, Chevy dealer.
Chevy dealer.
In a world filled with unimaginable danger, how on earth did they survive? Fighting famine, killer beasts, and worst of all, each other. Discover them at the one place that can bring them back to life. From the network that brought you the 2 highest-rated documentaries in cable history, Walking with Dinosaurs and Raising the Mammoth comes Walking with Cavemen. Sunday at 8 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Paul Pierce was one of the NBA's rising stars. But a violent bar brawl nearly ended it all.
I'm just saying to myself, I hope I don't die.
He Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
4-0 is our score. We head to the 4th inning. Cubs wailing away against Pat Henkin here tonight. Already 8 hits after 3 innings of play.
Michael just told me that tonight, for every home run in this ballpark, $55,000 is going to be donated. So let's hope the guys wearing blue tonight can hit a few.
That's inside to Lenny Harris, who popped out his first time up. 4th inning, no score in New York. Astros and Yankees. Boston's jumped in front of the Cardinals 2-0 at Fenway Park.
When Lenny hits them, they're usually line drives, and they usually go into right field. So you have to get a little elevation to get it over that scoreboard, but it's very close and right.
Harris, you recall, picked up hit number 1,000 in that Yankee series, and he'll roll out leading off our 4th inning as it's time to cue the duck. Our Aflac trivia question from beautiful Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Who was the first Cub player to hit a home run in interleague games?
I'll say Carmen Fanzone, because although I know it wasn't him, I just like to say his name. Wonderful man, great trumpet player. And I've guessed wrong so many times that one more won't hurt anything.
I'm going to guess Ron Santo, because Ronnie's not with us for this portion of the road trip, and I'm sure the coach is back home resting comfortably in his palatial suburban Chicago estate tonight.
Of course, I told him if the Cubs go 6-0 in his absence, with Dave Otto pinch hitting for him on the radio, that there is no way in the world he can rejoin the team in Cincinnati. That you have to ride the hot hand, as it were. And there's Dave Otto.
Baco with a fly ball to right. 2 up and 2 down. So, Ronnie, we hope you're doing okay. It's just not the same not having you around to torment you.
And there's the Twin Towers behind him with Matt Bolts and Andy Mazer helping out Pat Hughes and Dave Otto.
Who do you think is more upset about Ronnie not being here? Ronnie or Vicky?
I think Ronnie's very disappointed that he couldn't make the trip. You know how he loves Toronto and that artificial surface.
I mean, I know Ronnie deep
would have
in his
made
heart.
them ask for him.
Well, sure. But, you know, Ronnie, we know that deep in his heart truly is an American League player. I'm surprised he didn't, try to tough it out. Make the trip to Baltimore and Toronto. And he'll be ready to go for the Sox series as Gibbons in right makes the play, and Henkin recovers with a 3-up, 3-down 4th. Middle of the order up for the Orioles in the 4th.
Oh, look, it's the guy who falls. Fall now.
Oh, I don't really do that anymore. It's not like I got that insurance.
What insurance?
Aflac. They pay you cash if you can't work when you get hurt. Not that I ever do. Aisle 5 under lingerie.
Price check.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Aflac.
Introducing Rain-X Car Wax. The same transparent polymer technology that makes our windshield treatment so effective now keeps your whole car protected from rain, dirt, UV rays, and more. There's almost nothing Rain-X Wax won't protect your car from. Almost. New Rain-X Car Wax. Protection you can see.
With a spacious cabin, an available DVD entertainment system, and a powerful 4.7-liter V8 engine, the Lexus GX is an adventure in luxury. See your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
The biggest stars are on the best damn sports show, period. Please welcome Samuel. After the post game on Fox Sports Net.
Well, folks, we'd love to invite you to Harry Carey's downtown and talk a little baseball with Chip and Steve. A lunchtime series that we're going to get started Tuesday, June 24th. Tickets are $50 a piece. They're going to go fast, so don't miss out on Chevrolet's Talkin' Cubs luncheon. Call 312-828-0966 and reserve your seat today at Harry Carey's downtown Chicago.
And we will have certainly some folks associated with the Cubs, hopefully some management types or players. And we'll talk a little bit about what's happening with the Cubs these days, as well as what to look for down the road, and have a pretty good lunch at Harry Carey's, so it should be quite an afternoon.
We're real excited about it. We'll have some fun, and we encourage you to get on that phone, call Harry Carey's, get your seats, $50 a pop, and we'll have a good hour-and-a-half program. A lot of fun. There's the number again, 312-828-0966, Tuesday, June the 24th.
Jeff Conine hit the ball pretty hard the first time up and took it right back up the middle. So I think he's seeing the ball pretty well against Estes, who's been awfully good through 3.
He's trying to rally back from a 2-game losing streak, and we've talked about it several times. The Central Division race still a very long way to go before the tale will be told. But if the Cubs, Estes and Zambrano, pitch the way that they have overall, the Cubs probably have the best 4 or 5 pitchers in the National League Central, and that's going to be a huge advantage as this division race continues to plod along.
I don't doubt the fact that the Cubs pitching will be what carries them. And now we'll see what the answer to the Aflac trivia question is. So cue the duck in the opposite direction. Well, we have no duck. Consequently, we have no answer, but we'll get it.
Maybe the duck was intimidated because we're in Oriole Park. Are ducks and Orioles natural enemies?
I don't know. I do remember the Oriole that is somewhere around this ballpark, and it hasn't gotten humid yet. It's a good thing for the Orioles.
Looping line drive into left field by Jay Gibbons. Ornithologically correct here in our 4th inning, and now, without further delay, the duck is ready for the answer, as are we. We know you're on the edge of your seat. Who's the first Cub player to hit a home run in interleague games? Kevin Ory.
Kevin Ory, who tried to make the ball club this spring, but had some shoulder problems, elbow problems, had surgery, and unfortunately for Kevin, didn't work out quite the way he wanted to.
His recovery's going well. A good kid. Had a fine spring for the Cubs. Last inning he get hurt. Here's Tony Batista. He fly to center his first time up. He brings a 6-game hitting streak into play tonight.
He has surprising power.
That one pops away, and that one's going to trickle into the Baltimore dugout.
He will stay right at second base as you get one base as that ball gets away from Paul Bacco.
Stoney, let me ask you a question. There's so much going on with regards to the Montreal situation. You played here in Baltimore. This is our first visit to Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Can this area support 2 teams in your estimation?
Well, it never has before. Now, I don't know what bearing that will have on the team going there. They have failed a couple times. They think one of the answers might be to play in RFK Park and then put a team in either D.C. or Northern Virginia, and they've talked about that. There's been a number of other scenarios, one of them Portland, Oregon, and they've talked about that. It's going to be an interesting problem, expedited by wanting to find a permanent home for the Expos,
which they have not done yet, and there's a chance they may play all of their games next year in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Well, they're drawing better than they are drawing in Montreal. They do have one problem, and that is Vladimir Guerrero in his free agent year, but that's complicated by the fact that he's had a real bad back problem with a herniated disc.
2-2 pitch. Batista takes strike 3. Frozen on the breaking ball. Estes has a real good one tonight. A left-handed Steve Stone delivery.
Well, I had a whole lot more hair in those days, and I struck out Dave Kingman on a high fastball in the All-Star game. He was probably looking for a curveball. actually could throw a fastball over the outside corner. That's somewhat surprising.
What does it feel to come back here and still see your name in the record books? Most wins ever in a single season by a Baltimore Oriole, an organization and a franchise known for great pitching.
I think, Chip, that it was a convergence of a lot of factors that enabled me to have that kind of a year. Number one, a great manager in Earl Weaver. Number two, a team that won 202 games in 2 years, 1979, 1980. And a team that understood what it was to go out on a daily basis and know you're going to win. That's what the Orioles did in those days. And I did retire in '82. They won the World Championship in '83 after getting to the World Series in '79. But for 25 years, from '60 to '85, the Orioles were as good as anybody in baseball. And when I came here, individually, 3 different guys came up to me and said, look, we know where you came from, meaning the Chicago White Sox. And they said, you guys gave the game away in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning on those teams in those years. He goes, here in Baltimore, we take the game away in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. That's what we do. We know how to win. And I think when a team understands that, and Chip, I think when a team comes together, you can accomplish things that perhaps you never even dreamed you can accomplish. Now, the Orioles had a winning history, so they had a little bit of that on their side. But there are some similarities between this team. Number one, Dusty Baker is one of the best managers around. And he's come to an organization that's starved for a winner. The Orioles had great pitching. The Cubs have great pitching this year. What the Cubs have to do is score a few more runs and tighten it up defensively, something the Orioles did. They were very good defensively. They made very few mistakes, but they didn't score a whole lot of runs.
That one's sizzled into the seats. Hopefully everybody's all right.
So I think that this Cub team has some similarities from the great Baltimore teams. The only difference is the Oriole teams very rarely made any defensive mistakes, always threw to the right base and try to stay out of big innings. And this team is starting to learn how to do that. And that series against the Yankees can't be understated as far as the importance is concerned.
Bouncing ball into the hole at short. Alex, off balance throw, has to hurry it. And Karros couldn't hold the bat. So Matos with good speed, ranks out an infield hit. Baltimore has men at the corners now for Davy Cruz.
Pretty good play by Alex as he goes into the hole. Makes the off-balance throw, but can't get it there quite in time. Matos gets there very quickly. Now, Eric does a nice job realizing that perhaps there is going to be a safe call. He's looking at third to make sure that Gibbons can't advance. And there are runners at the corners with 2 out.
First real threat for Baltimore, and Estes keeps throwing that breaking ball in for a strike. That is an interesting thing to watch a young team transform itself into. A team that doesn't know how to win into a team that finds a way to win, and then finally a team that does win for all the reasons you mentioned earlier.
Well, what makes it different, Chip, is the Cubs are not a young team. The Cubs are made up of veterans, but they came from all over baseball. They've come together with Jim Hendry making some great moves, some terrific acquisitions, some guys with a history of winning like Moises Alou and a few others, and now they have to learn to win as a team. And I think they're going to be able to do that, and one of the ways you do that is you have consistently good pitching, and then eventually you realize that, number one, keeping the double play in order. Number two, hitting the cutoff man. Don't try to do something heroic. Just stay out of the big inning. And if you do that, eventually your pitching staff, being better than the others, will prevail.
Big jump at first, and no chance for Baco as that ball in the dirt. Matos with his 5th stolen base. And part of that play is now a 2-out hit, could score 2 runs and cut the Cub lead in half.
Davy Cruz has never been known for his selectivity, so you don't have to necessarily get him out in the strike zone. He's behind 1 and 2. Baco has to make sure if you call a curveball that you're able to smother it.
1 and 2. Just did get a piece.
Pretty good curveball by Estes. And unfortunately for the Cubs, Cruz is just barely able to hit the top of this one and foul it off.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Again out of play and back into the second deck where fan makes a great catch, and several years ago, the great PA voice of the Baltimore Orioles, Rex Barney, would have said, "Give that fan a contract," after a nice grab like that. Sure miss him. One of the delightful characters in baseball lore. The late, great Rex Barney here in Baltimore. Ground ball toward Harris at third. Plenty of time for Lenny. And Estes has worked 4 scoreless innings in a real hitter-friendly park. He leads at 4-0.
It out-accelerated Honda Accord in the quarter mile. It out-handled Audi A6 in the slalom. On the road course, it surpassed 14 other sports sedans with flying colors. Introducing the 2004 Grand Prix Comp G, the best performing sports sedan in its class. Go to Pontiac.com for details. Then get price information and take a test drive. See your Chicagoland Pontiac dealer.
Need to blend in? Get smart. Get supplied. You need camouflage. Get yours at Military and Police Supply. We have camouflage of all forms, colors, and shades, and for all occasions. Shopping to be invisible is fun. Our merchandise fits the big boys and small fry. And don't leave without buying a t-shirt. We have racks of them. Finding a keeper won't take long. Located at 7351 West Madison and Forest Park, minutes from the Eisenhower, from the city or suburbs. Dial 312 surplus for weekly specials and closeout. Supplying authority for over 25 great years. Military and Police Supply. Thanks for the business.
Hey, I just got a new car.
Oh, yeah? Where'd you get it?
Jacob's Twin.
Hey, me too. Man, they have a huge selection. Over 2,000 new cars.
I know. You want a Buick? They got it. You want a Pontiac? They got that too.
Oh, yeah. Ford, Honda, Mazda, Hyundai, they got all those. Yeah, I went there for a used car, and guess what? They have over 300.
And they have some of the lowest prices in town.
Hey.
You always win at Jacob's Twin.
Hey, I also drive a car from Jacob's Twin, but I'm Jeff Jacobs.
Giants tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
I'm Gail Fisher inside the Fox Sports Net studios with this Pontiac in-game update and a couple of scores from around the league to get you caught up on. Houston is atop the Cubs in the NL Central by 1 game, and they are in New York. Scoreless against the Yankees, that in the top of the 5th. St. Louis losing to Boston 2-0. That one's in the 5th. And 8-5 Toronto so far. Chip and Steve, let's send it back to you.
All right, Gail, thank you very much. So far, so good on this very big road trip for the Cubs. 4-0 after 4 with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. For Dusty Baker and the Cubs, we want to first of all send along congratulations to our producer Bob Albrecht and his family. His daughter Victoria graduating from high school tonight in suburban Chicago. Bob not with us on the trip to spend some quality time with the family. So Victoria, congratulations from all of us at Fox, and Bob, enjoy the time at home, and we'll see you here tomorrow evening. Line drive hit sharply into left. Mora diving try, could not come up. Field and Culbreth out with an eagle-eyed look at the play, and Alex Gonzalez 2 for 3 tonight.
Well, Alex has been up 3 times, lined out in the first inning and hit the ball right on the nose, then hit a home run in the 3rd, and now a sinking line drive that Mora almost able to make the play, but traps it. So some good hustle on the part of the umpiring crew tonight as the Cubs look for a little insurance here, already leading 4-0 on this first of a 10-game road trip.
And a good start for the Cubs in our Toyota fan of the game inning. Today's contestant, Joseph Pudlow, off North Chicago, Illinois. If the Cubs score here in the 5th, Joseph wins a Fox Sports Net Toyota prize package, including a hat and a t-shirt. Corey's lined out, tripled, and scored so far tonight. Continue to pummel away against Henkin, and on the recoil, either the bat hit heel or the baseball hit heel. On the heel, and it's 0-2.
I think it's the swing. We'll watch it again, and that's exactly what happened. As he went up to get a high fastball, and Corey on the follow-through hit him right off the throwing hand.
And catchers hate that. This is where sometimes they'll say, all right, here's a high, tight, chin-high fastball. Don't hit me again. 0-2 your count.
He's going to probably try to throw it high and tight anyway.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Slugfest at Skydome. Toronto 8, Pittsburgh 5. That game's in the 3rd inning.
That Toronto team can really hit. The Cubs are going to see him up close and personal in a couple of days.
Wood, Pryor, and Estes, the scheduled threesome in that series. Patterson goes the other way. If that's fair, that's big trouble for Baltimore. It is fair. Alex around second, on his way to third. Of course, Wendell will green light it. Here's the relay. Throw to the plate in plenty of time. Patterson to third, safe.
I wonder if Wendell's ever worked on a stop sign, because he keeps waving them, and they keep gunning him out with nobody out in the inning. And eventually you're going to have to stop him, so.
Especially with Sosa coming up.
Corey Patterson hits his ball down the line. Watch it again. Mora with a pretty good throw now. Play at the plate, and he's out rather easily.
And you're forcing the defense to make 3 perfect plays, but you're running yourself into outs with your 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up, all of them big RBI men. And in a 4-run game, it's not a very big lead, no matter how well you pitch. So I'm assuming it's a double for Patterson. He takes third on the play at the plate. Infield in for Baltimore with Sosa up, and it's strike 1. Cubs have had 2 men thrown out at the plate tonight.
Well, they've had him thrown out by a good margin also. Not a comfortable position if you're in the infield, having to play in with Sosa up.
Sammy took strike 3 called last time up and was none too pleased with the Terry Kraft decision.
Lincoln so far has scattered 10 hits in 4 1/3 innings. Here's the pitch where Hankin will find some trouble if he gets it middle in. Sammy knows he can't throw it by him. Heel's still looking at his thumb where Corey hit him. But he doesn't have any throwing to do. And there's the breaking ball. Let's see if Sammy can lay off it side of the zone.
Look at that ball. Funny squib hop to second. And the throw to first in time. Sosa rolls out. Patterson remains at third.
Well, you have a choice there. If you're Dusty Baker, you have a contact play where the man runs anyway, and that could have been the play. I think Corey realized that he might have had a shot at scoring, but the contact play obviously wasn't on because he didn't go, and the Cubs don't score the run. So now they need a base hit or a wild pitch to score Patterson from third. And if they come away empty in this inning, this would be a big lift for the Orioles. Salou, one of the best the Cubs have at 2 out, runs batted in. And he's hit the ball hard twice against Hankin.
Breaking ball, rifled, and that's over the bag. And foul by an eyelash. Batista had a good look, as did Field and Culbreth. And Stoney, you made the point earlier, this umpiring crew already tonight has had a very good game. They've got everything right. They've hustled, they've rotated, they've supported each other with the defensive shifts. They've done a very good job. Fans are always quick to point out when they err. Tonight, Kraft's crew has turned in a very good performance.
Well, now Mark Wiley goes to the mound again. Perhaps didn't like the pitch selection to Alou, who's hit a couple of balls very hard. Now, you know they don't want to pitch around Alou to get to Karras because he's killed Hankin, and nobody knows it better than Pat Hankin. So they just want to tell him how to try to retire Moises Alou, which is normally easier said than done. Alou's already driven in a run. He's 1 for 1 tonight. He's scored a run, so it's been a very productive night for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the batting order.
Alou hits a high fly ball into shallow left field. Cubs had a big chance in the 5th. They ran themselves out of the inning, but do lead it 4-0.
The world is full of individuals with their own personalities, their own quirks, their own fingerprints. They cannot be put in a box. Why should they drive one?
A6 Nissan Altima.
Here we go. You want three? What do you want, man? Knock down all the bottles, win a prize. Yes, you, sir. Come on over. Yeah. Here we go. Impress the little lady.
When the target's refreshment, a hard Mike's is good to find.
Give it a try, man. See what you can do.
Oh, come on, let's get this guy. It's got to be over 100 degrees out there. You have any idea what that does to an engine?
Need a motor oil for hot temperatures? We developed one. Pennzoil Synthetic resists thinning to protect engines in hot summer conditions. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Now at Pep Boys, buy a case of Pennzoil motor oil and get a free can of Fix-A-Flat.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Toyota. Get the feeling. Corona Extra, miles away from the ordinary. And by your Chicagoland Ford stores. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Game one of this three-game series. Start for the Cubs of a 10-game road trip. And so far, Shawn Estes is throwing a gem. Just 3 hits allowed to a hot-hitting Baltimore ball club. And the Cubs lead it 4-0. Quite frankly, they could have a couple of more, but they've had 2 men thrown out at the plate in the proceedings tonight. Now Estes will face Heel, Roberts, and Mora, the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for Mike Hargrove.
Heel having a surprisingly good year. And he's worked very hard on his catching. Last year hit just .232. He's just in his 2nd full year in the major leagues.
Little roller to the mound. Estes has fielded his position flawlessly here tonight. That's the 2nd good play he's made.
What I like what he did there, Chip, was that he realized he had a catcher going down the line. And so instead of catching it barehanded, he knew he had some time. He came in, he made the play with his glove. And then he had plenty of time, and Estes throws him out by plenty. A lot of guys would rush that play, try to pick it up barehand, and sometimes throw it away. So Estes has done a great job of fielding his position. The play he made earlier when he picked the chopper by Brian Roberts onto the air was just special.
That one smoked into center field, but an easy play for Corey Patterson. Leadoff man for Baltimore, 0 for 3 tonight. Now the left fielder Melvin Mora hits. He's got a hit extending his streak to 21.
He's yet to retire Mora. And with a base hit and a walk, Mora has shown why he's leading the league in hitting. He also has shown some surprising power. There are a lot of Cub fans in attendance, as there are wherever we go.
Mora hitting like a man who's got lots of kids to support, and he does. He and his wife welcomed quintuplets into the world 2 years ago. And checking my Georgia math, quintuplets means 5.
Spend a few bucks on diapers and formula.
Been there, done it. Not with the quintuplets. Twins was enough. 1 ball, no strikes.
You never know. You still have a window of opportunity, as they say.
My wife isn't in the booth.
No, she went downstairs.
2-0. Line into left, pulled foul.
Or last year hit 19 home runs, so it's not surprising that he's shown some power. What's surprising is the batting average is over 130 points higher than it was last year.
2 balls and a strike. Base is clear. That's toward right center field. Patterson with a terrific play. And Estes getting good defense behind him, and just enough support, leads it by 4 after 5.
Di Serrano sour, Di Serrano martini.
Di Serrano on the rocks.
Di Serrano on the rocks. Coming up.
Di Serrano's warm and sensual taste makes you wish it would never end. Di Serrano. Pass the pleasure around.
The Hyundai Santa Fe, a comparison. More standard features than a Ford Escape XLS, all for over $1,400 less when comparably equipped. And only the Santa Fe is protected by America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. Looks like we have a winner. Test drive the Hyundai Santa Fe, nicely equipped for just $17,634 at your Hyundai dealer. Hurry in and get a 2003 Santa Fe with $1,000 cash back or 0% APR at your local Hyundai dealer.
Okay, let's say this is your car and you get into an accident. Oh boy. If you take it to an Allstate recommended repair shop, they'll fix it, so you're pretty happy. You're like, woo, I'm pretty happy. Even better, Allstate guarantees the workmanship for as long as you own the car, which means if even the smallest thing goes wrong, you don't have to pay for it. So you're still happy. You're like, woo, I'm still happy. So there you go, the Allstate Lifetime Repair Guarantee. Call now and find out how you're in good hands with Allstate.
Nothing beats the fun and excitement of watching the Cubs in beautiful Wrigley Field. And you can be there. That's right. Tickets are still available for upcoming Cubs games. To get your tickets, just call tickets.com at 1-800-THE-CUBS. Head to the Wrigley Field box office. Punch in www.cubs.com. Or visit any Chicagoland Sears or Sears hardware store. Don't wait. Catch all the Cubs action firsthand and get to the game.
Well, it's just hard to leave. And I didn't think this would happen, but it has.
Well, I'm sure, Steve, it was hard to say goodbye, but you've obviously moved on to a great position as a color analyst for the Chicago Cubs. And again, I know a lot of folks in Baltimore are delighted to see you back here with the Cubs in Baltimore. You had some great grounds.
Well, that was a real tough time simply because I was leaving something I'd done all my life. I mean, taking off that uniform, you really don't know, Chip, what you're taking off. Is it your identity or what you do or who you are? And eventually you realize that it's not necessarily the length of career that's important. It's the quality of career, and I got just about everything out of it that I could have. And it was time to move on, and little did I know that it was a guy like you that was waiting for me in my future.
Makes you think about putting the uniform back on these days.
Or choosing another profession.
I understand perfectly. But that is part of the experience for professional athletes that I don't think people at home really take into consideration. Are they handsomely compensated? Absolutely. Are they living a dream life? No question about it. Are they, like us in the booth, spoiled rotten with what we are able to do? Absolutely. But by and large, by the time most players, before they even get to the age of 35, their profession is taken away from them, not because of anything they did, but father time. And it's a very difficult transition to make.
It's a game of attrition, and every year you get robbed of a little bit more, and eventually it's time to look for something else. But you have to realize that for a very short period of time, God has given you a wonderful gift, and then you have to make the most of it. And there are some guys who truly appreciate what's going on while it's going on, but unfortunately, Chip, most of the guys don't appreciate it until it's over, and they look back to see just how special that period was. And I was fortunate to be able to play with 4 or 5 pretty good teams and have 14 years where they paid me to do something that I would have done for nothing. And I think that's one of the things that guys lose sight of.
Troy O'Leary has an RBI single. He's also struck out tonight. Hinkin, after a very rocky second and third inning, has pitched pretty well since. Cubs base running decisions have helped him out as well tonight. 4 runs, 10 hits in this 6th inning. Feel real comfortable no matter how well you pitch. That one driven to left. Back goes Mora at the warning track. Plenty of room. 2 up, 2 down.
We were just joined in the booth by a former teammate of mine who is now one of the co-general managers of this team, and that's Mike Flanagan. He pitched on those great Oriole teams and won the Cy Young Award in 1979, and along with Jim Beattie, now they're the co-GMs. And Mike is telling me just about what every other general manager would tell me, is they've done a great deal to help the minor leagues. They're putting a re-emphasis on development, and that goes hand in hand with an improved scouting system, because you don't have to tell him or anybody else associated with this game, if you grow your own talent, it costs you a whole lot less than if you have to go out and buy it. And the Orioles are trying to do just that. Now they have some young players here, young as far as major leagues are concerned, but not young in life. They have some guys who are 26, 27, 28-year-old that only have a year or two in the major leagues, and that's unusual.
Well, that's what's so interesting about the philosophy Baltimore moved away from. For years as a kid, even I heard about the Baltimore way or the Oriole way to play baseball. That changed all of a sudden, and they stopped winning all of a sudden. It's not surprising that their success with their philosophy went hand in hand, and they're trying to rediscover that by going back to their roots. Guys like Dempsey, guys like Flanagan, guys that have been around before Peter Angelos bought the team and maybe have come on while he's owned the team to rebuild what still many feel to be one of the elite franchises in all of professional sports, not just baseball. Strike 3 to Lenny Harris. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. Cubs maintain a 4-run lead.
Got an old buddy waiting for a visit in Washington? With everyday low fares on Southwest Airlines, flying to BWI is your best route to the capital.
You are now free to move about the country.
Maglio Ordonez and the White Sox are poised to strike as Barry Bonds and his home run swing make their first trip to the South Side. White Sox, Giants, tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Despite years of racing stock cars, motorcycles, and dirt bikes, the only ride that truly scared Bill Wilt was the short trip in an ambulance when he had that unbearable pain in his chest.
I thought I was going to die, but the doctors at Gottlieb Hospital pulled me through with a quadruple bypass, and I haven't felt this good in 20 years.
Gottlieb Memorial Hospital's group of heart surgeons performs some 2,000 open heart operations in the Chicago area each year. At Gottlieb, we're bringing quality to life.
The world's most powerful SUVs now come with the world's most attractive finance rate, 0. Get 0% financing for 60 months on the all-new Escalades and save $94.50 in finance charges. Chicagoland's best selection of Escalades is right here at Maury Edelson Cadillac. Simply the best experience, always the best price. At Maury Edelson Cadillac,
Oldsmobile, and Buick and Hotchkiss.
Tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
After our game, it's Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post. Get all the highlights and analysis of the game's action with Gail Fisher and Dave Otto. Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post right after our game here on Fox Sports Net. One of the great bits of trivia about Major League Baseball, of course, the Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth. Baltimore born, Baltimore bred, and his family operated a restaurant or a tavern in what is now center field here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. In downtown Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, they might want to work on that hitting background because it looks like it's departing in sections, although they do have the Babe Ruth Museum.
And a big statue out front on the promenade by Utah Street as the fans can enter the ballpark where the Orioles Walk of Fame is. Interesting bit of trivia about that statue. Of course, Babe Ruth was a left-handed pitcher, a left-handed hitter, but he wore a right-handed fielder's glove in the statue. When they unveiled it, everyone was aghast. Oh my goodness, the sculptor made a terrific and horrible mistake because Babe Ruth was left-handed. Why would he have a right-handed glove? And historians say that when Ruth was a youngster, they didn't have left-handed gloves. All they had were righties, so he was historically correct. Therefore, the reason for the right-handed glove on the left-handed Bambino. Segui, Conine, and Gibbons coming up here in the 6th.
You would have to hope that the Cubs would not rue the squandered scoring opportunities. They lead this game 4-0. They should probably lead it 7 or 8-0. And this is an Oriole team that can score some runs. So this looks to be a tough inning for Estes as he goes right through the heart of the order. You get through this one, you should be in pretty good shape.
And the dirt to David Segui, and you're seeing American League Baseball at work. Henkin giving up 4 runs, 10 hits in this ball game. 8 of the hits after 3 innings. In the National League, he might have been pulled, taken out. American League, you act as your own relief pitcher more often than not. Henkin has discovered the magic, giving up now just 2 hits in the last 3 innings he's pitched. So he's kept him in the game. Now the Baltimore bats trying to do something. Count pitch to Segui, the DH, and that breaking ball has mesmerized them all night long. That's 5 punch outs.
Shawn Estes knew that it would be a curveball that would retire Segui, but the 2 pitches before he couldn't get in the zone. This one he finally does, and Segui swings over the top of it. David Segui not very happy. Fortunately for the Cubs tonight with Estes on the mound, the Orioles switch hitters to a man are better hitters from the left side than they are from the right. So it certainly helps to have a left-handed starter. Shawn Estes bidding for win number 6 tonight.
Hot shot, and it's off the end of the glove of Gonzalez, who slips and falls trying to pick it up.
That'll go as a base hit. It's a play that Alex might tell you he should have made. It came out like a knuckleball. Had he been able to knock it down, Conine doesn't run very well. But when he got back on the grass, his feet went out from under it. It's hit right at him and then just scoots under the glove, and not much balance. So it will go, I believe, as hit number 4, and it does that.
That'll bring up Jay Gibbons. He's walked, singled, and has been stranded. Baltimore's left, 5 men on base. And that one eludes Baco momentarily, but a kick save and a beauty.
The hitting coach of this ball club, a former teammate of mine, Terry Crowley, great pinch hitter in his day. Very high on Jay Gibbons. He thinks he's got a chance to be awfully good. And there's a look at the man we call Crow. Very happy to be back here in Baltimore, and they think very highly of him. A lot of guys I talk to feel that he's one of the best hitting coaches around these major leagues.
1 ball, no strikes. Runner at first, 1 out for Gibbons, the Baltimore right fielder, and he takes a strike over the outside corner. Hargrove, in fact, the manager for Baltimore, raved about his entire staff. He said this might be the best staff I've ever had anywhere, and he had some great teams with him in Cleveland. That one hangs up, and Sosa in right plays it on a hop around second. Heading for third is Conine. And the infield hit opens up the floodgates for Baltimore. First and third now with 1 away, and Batista, the slugging third baseman, to stand in.
Shawn Estes just under 100 pitches. So he should have something left in the tank, but this is when you want to keep a close eye on him, because Batista's the one guy from here on in the rest of the lineup that can really do you some damage. Most of Tony's power is to left and left center field, and with only .333 and a very short fence in the outfield, you can hit line drives out of here rather easily.
Ground ball might be 2. Second base for 1. Quick turn, double play, and the inning is over. Estes keeps making big pitch after big pitch. We go to the 7th. Cubs in front, 4-0. Saturday, June 21st, the first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs commemorative lapel pin, as some call it. Compliments of LaSalle. Obviously, it's a lapel pin. Don't miss the action. The Cubs and White Sox do battle at 12:15 on Saturday. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit Cubs.com for more information. Paul Baco has singled and lined out today.
New York Yankees continue to cling to that one-run lead against the Houstons in New York. And if this score holds up, and so does that one, then the Cubs will regain a tie for first place.
Houston streaking. They've won their last 7 decisions. Not surprisingly, with that offense starting to swing the bat a whole lot better, and that great bullpen in this with Lidge, Dotel, and Wagner, if they have a lead late, it's bye-bye time for the opposition.
Todd Wellmeyer getting loosened up in the bullpen.
Good cut by Baco. B.J. Ryan gets up for Baltimore. He's in their pen. And the left-hander. 4-0. Cubs have the lead. At this stage in Henkin's career, he may not have much left, but he's giving Baltimore tonight everything he's got. And he's done a real good job of keeping him in this affair, trailing 4-0, 8 hits allowed after 3 innings. He's shut the door since.
But when you take a look at what he's done tonight, you realize he's very fortunate to still be in the game. In the second inning, the Cubs had 4 straight hits to lead off the inning. A double, a single, a double, and a single. Then the Cubs had a home run and a triple to lead off the 3rd inning. Then they had a single and a double to lead off the 5th inning. And yet Henkin is still around, so he's shown to be resilient.
Baco takes ball 3 high. Cardinals have taken a 4-2 lead into the 6th inning in Boston. Toronto 11, Pittsburgh 5. Pirates welcome Matt Stairs back. Matt, a native Canadian.
And if anything can turn the tide for the Buccos, it's Matt Stairs.
Ball 4, leadoff walk here in our 7th inning. Let's take a look at our 4-game summary. As Steve mentioned, the Cubs hits came in bunches in the 2nd and 3rd tonight.
Eric Karros, who's always hit Henkin, hits him again as that ball rattles around in the corner. Alex Gonzalez with a home run. This one, good attempt by Moore. It hits the fans and bounces back in the field of play. And the Cubs hit parade continues. They've got 10 of them as they lead by 4, and that's our forward summary. With the Cubs looking for more here in the 7th. And very big left-hander, 6'6", 250-pound B.J. Ryan throwing in the pen.
Gonzalez 0 for 3 tonight. His hit streak standing at 5 games. Ricochets off the catcher. 0-2 your count. Giants are in Chicago playing the White Sox at U.S. Cellular Field. No score there after 3. Texas leads the Mets 3-0. Mets made news today. Jose Reyes, the young phenom shortstop, called up from the minor leagues with Ray Sanchez going down because of injury. One National League game tonight. Florida beating Milwaukee 4-1. That game in the 2nd inning. Gonzalez is the 4th strikeout victim of Henkin. 1 on, 1 out for Alex, who's 2 for 3 tonight.
Gonzalez has hit the ball right on the nose 3 straight times. And with right-hander Rick Bauer throwing in the O's pen to join left-hander B.J. Ryan. You wonder just how patient Mike Hargrove is going to be.
Leads Minnesota 4-0. That game in the 3rd inning at the Metrodome. Minnesota team now a 4.5-game lead over Kansas City. The White Sox are 7.5 games back. Those are the top 3 teams in the AL Central. Cleveland and Detroit clearly in rebuilding mode.
I would think regardless of what happens with Gonzalez, we'd see Ryan against Patterson. Alex hit that ball way out of play in the upper deck. Got too far in front of it. Patterson has just murdered Henkin tonight, and he's in the on-deck circle.
He also, though, has hit left-handed pitching very well. We'll see what transpires here on the 0-2 pitch. Missed inside. 1-2 is your count. In the American League West, it's turning into a rout. Seattle at 42-19. They and Atlanta the best records in all of baseball. Seattle with an 8-game lead over Oakland.
How about Jamie Moyer at 10-2?
What a story. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lou Piniella was telling us, of course, Lou managed Seattle last year, that Mariners had all kinds of injury problems last year. He knew he was leaving a good ball club in the hands of Bob Melvin, and he is right.
They've had terrific pitching. They've got a wonderful bullpen. They don't usually pummel you, but they don't have to in their ballpark because Safeco Field is very much a pitching and defense field.
But they've done it on the road. They're 25-8 away from home. Alex swings at a bad ball. Now the decision for Mike Hargrove. You let Henkin face Patterson with a man on, 2 outs, trailing 4-0.
This one sweeps wide of the plate, and it's a good hard slider from Henkin. So what Hargrove is gambling here is that he's not trailing 6-0, because the way Corey swung the bat against Henkin, you're really gambling that he can get him out.
Well, after Patterson, you've got the 3 right-handed bats of Sosa, Alou, and Karros.
The pitching starting to pile up. And they do have the right-hander in the pen. Let's see if the Cubs can take advantage of Henkin before he departs.
High and tight strike. Corey didn't like it. Nothing and 2 your count.
Looked like the old American League strike. That went up around the letters on the inside part of the plate.
Well, as we said, everybody knows you're back. They want to welcome you home appropriate.
I used to love that strike up there. I retired in '82 and threw my last low fastball in '73. And Heel goes out to talk with Henkin. Rick Dempsey has worked long and hard with Heel behind the plate, convincing him that you've got to throw your feet back to block low pitches. He had a hard time doing it. And there's an Oriole fan that remembers when they only had 2 bases in this league.
Out of play. 4 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, Baltimore, the original home of baseball's most storied franchise, the Yankees.
Bill Veeck moved the St. Louis Browns here.
That's right.
Realized that he couldn't compete with the Cardinals in St. Louis.
Way upstairs. I heard a story, and I have not been able to find out whether or not it's completely true, but rumor has it that Bill Veeck was going to move the Browns to Southern California. The fateful meeting to arrange to move the AAA teams out of that area to allow them to move west was to have taken place on a very important date in what turns out to be American history. December 7th, 1941, which of course is Pearl Harbor Day. Obviously was canceled.
Folks said their attention diverted from the baseball move.
Obviously the Browns did not move. They stayed in St. Louis through the war. In fact, played in the World Series in 1944 against St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals won that World Series. Could not compete. Bill Veeck had to sell them. They moved to Baltimore in honor of their St. Louis Browns roots. Still wear the orange and brown uniforms. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Corey Patterson. 4-0. That's right down the middle, and Henkin strikes out the side in the 7th inning. Time to stretch. Cubs with a 4-run lead. June 22nd is Red Baron Pizza Day at Wrigley Field. You can win exciting products throughout the game with a lucky ticket number, or stop by the Cubs offices for a free entry form for Red Baron Pizza Day, Sunday, June 22nd. The Cubs will battle Ron Santo's other favorite team, the White Sox, at 1:20. For tickets, call 800-THE-CUBS or visit Cubs.com. 4-0. Crowd regaled by John Denvers. Thank God I'm a country boy, as is customary around these parts. And in the 7th, Matos, Cruz, and Heel to face Shawn Estes, who's got a 5-hit shutout working tonight.
Estes has got a lot of mileage out of that good overhand curveball, and when he's been able to get it in the zone, the Orioles have been able to do very little with it.
Cubs will see a left-handed pitcher themselves tomorrow. Omar Dahl will take the ball for the Orioles. Matt Clement will work for the Cubs in Game 2 of the series. We'll have it here on Fox beginning at 6 o'clock Central Time. After Thursday's game, off we go to Toronto. Hot shot, base hit. Leadoff single by Matos. He's got 2 hits tonight.
Only 4 outs so far have been recorded out of the infield. We told you last inning that they're going to keep a close eye on Estes, and I would think that it would be a little closer this inning as Paul Bacco goes to the mound. What he's going out to do on instructions from the dugout is to kill a little time out there and allow the bullpen to get loosened up. Larry Rothschild looking on, and Shawn Estes, combined May and June, has gotten everything a whole lot better than he did in April, where he really struggled. You might remember going to San Francisco, seeing his chiropractor, getting his back straightened out, and things have gotten a lot better for him.
Here's Davy Cruz. He's grounded out twiise. Cubs have turned one double play in this game. They'd love another one here, and Bacco with a fine stop keeps that ball in front.
Kyle Farnsworth loosening up in the bullpen. Something to bear in mind as we move along through this one. We talked about it. The switch hitters, almost without exception for the Orioles, better from the left side than they are from the right.
1 ball, no strikes. Mad misses away. Ball 2.
Here comes Larry Rothschild. He wants to make sure, one, how much Estes has left in the tank. And 2, he wants to make sure that Farnsworth is good and loose in the bullpen. The bullpen, kind of unusual, Chip. When you look out over the left center field wall, you see the Oriole bullpen, and then almost on top of it is the Cub bullpen.
Well, you want to be able to keep an eye on what the opposition is doing, and they've got a very good look. Unlike Pac Bell Park, they remembered to put the bullpens in here in Baltimore.
Well, now Terry Kraft is going out to break up the meeting at the mound. For years, the Orioles were known, Chip, as the organization that put out more executives than anybody else. They would develop them here in Baltimore, and then they would go all through baseball. And they're still around. John Sherholtz, one of those guys. Frank Cashin, another one. He ran the Mets. Sherholtz, of course, Kansas City, and now with the Atlanta Braves. And a lot of these guys came up through the Orioles system and learned, as you said, the Oriole way.
Big pitch, and Estes made it. 3 balls and a strike to Cruz.
Well, here's a bigger pitch because Cruz does have pretty good power. Surprising power this year.
Chop towards short. Can they turn it? Slow developing play, but the Cubs do get the double play. Second in as many innings.
One thing that Cruz has never been able to do, and that's run. And once he chopped this ball in the infield, the only question is, could Gonzalez stay in long enough to make the play? And Mark has shown a tremendous ability to avoid the sliding base runner and get the throw off. This time it was Matos who went in hard. Gonzalez stayed right there to make the throw, and they turned the double play. That's the second of the night for the Cubs. None bigger than that.
How about Shawn Estes? I mean, this guy. Maybe it is Dusty Baker and Dick Pole and Larry Rothschild. It's a guy that won 19 games early in his career and has not had that kind of success since then. But this year, he's been everything and more the Cubs had hoped for out of their 4th/5th start.
Jim Hendry made no secret of the fact that he wanted a left-handed starter. And you looked around at all those left-handed starters available, and there weren't too many of them. But he showed a lot of confidence that Shawn Estes could regain the magic. He made a fairly substantial obligation to him as far as the contract was concerned, and Estes has certainly lived up to just about everything they expected from him, and maybe a little bit more. This is a huge lift tonight, this kind of performance late into the ball game on the road.
There's that breaking ball, and they just have not been able to time it very effectively tonight. Baltimore just 6 hits in the game. They've left 6 men on base. Even more critical, Shawn's kept the bases on balls down in this game. Only 2 allowed, and that's critical if you're going to win games in this American League bandbox. The 0-2. Laid off, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gill.
The Yankees have extended their lead against Houston. They now lead 4-2. We saw a good Yankee team with a very vulnerable bullpen. When they get Bernie Williams and Nick Johnson back, and you know that they're not going to live with that bullpen very long, they're going to be an even better team, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for Boston to stay up with it.
Boston looking for more pitching, even after acquiring Byung-Hyun Kim. Peter Gammon's column today says they might be looking at Ugueth Urbina too. Maybe even Armando Benitez from the Mets. Maybe they will keep Kim in the starting rotation. You recall he pitched very well in beating the Pirates in his Red Sox debut last time out.
Well, Steve Phillips, knowing that the Mets are way out of this one with a bloated payroll, has made no secret of the fact that he wouldn't mind packaging Alomar and Benitez together and moving them both. You give up a whole lot of salary that way, and the only question is how much of their salary are the Mets going to eat.
Ground ball to second. He should be out of it, and he is. We go to the 8th inning. Shawn Estes throwing a gem, and the Cubs lead it 4-zip.
Announcing.
Shawn Estes gets the glad hand in that Cub dugout. Why not? He's thrown 7 great scoreless innings, and the Cub defense behind him. Stoney provides our Pennzoil protection play.
Shawn Estes makes a great play, a bare hand throw in one motion, and he is our Pennzoil protection play of the game. So Kerry Lightenberg comes into the game. You might remember him from his days with Atlanta. And he comes into this one on for the 24th time, the ERA at 3.60. In relief of Pat Hankin.
He doesn't look the same without the pointed sideburns.
He's had some arm problems of late, but you look at some pretty impressive numbers out of the bullpen for the Orioles. Alfonseca loosening up for the Cubs.
Line drive left center field. There's a base hit for Mr. Sosa. So Sammy a 2-hit game. He's 2 for 4 and has now a 6-game hitting streak for the Cubs.
Lightenberg wants it away, and Sammy reaches out and gets it, driving it into the gap. And a good start to the 8th inning as the Cubs look for some insurance. So Hankin went 7, gave up 4 runs on 10 hits. He walked 1, he fanned 6, and he turns it over to Lightenberg.
Lightenberg, a real neat story. Braves got him in 1996. He was pitching in the Independent League. The Southern Mini Stars of Austin, Minnesota. Former Braves catcher Greg Olson recommended Lightenberg to John Sherholtz. Their scouts went out, signed him. In essence, signed him for the hefty price of 6 dozen baseballs and 2 dozen baseball bats. It worked out really well because Lightenberg, you're right, a 30-save season in 1998 for Atlanta before the arm difficulties reared up in 1999.
Right now he seems to regain some of the magic, but gone is that bullet-like fastball that he had when he came to the Braves.
It sweeps outside. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. We're in the 8th inning. Cubs try to win the opening game of this 10-game road trip. 4-0 the score, and we've said it a lot. Cubs get 4 runs. Usually it's a good night for the opposition.
Well, they've played over 750 baseball when that happened.
They're 26-8, trying to make it 27-8. 2 straight hits leading off the 8th inning against Lightenberg. And this Baltimore bullpen, which was such a strength for the Orioles last year, Steve, has had real big problems in their last 30 games. They're sporting a near 7-point earned run average in that span.
Well, they started off pretty good this year, but with more use, with a starting rotation that's been spotty at best. The more they've pitched, the more worn out they become, and now instead of a strength, it's become something that has plagued Mike Hargrove. And in their division, when you have to face the Yankees and the Red Sox and Toronto 17 or 18 times, you can't have a leaky bullpen or you're going to get slaughtered.
Garros takes a sweeper for a strike. Eric 2 hits tonight. There's the news today in Baltimore. Sammy Sosa did have his appeal hearing with regards to his 8-game suspension. No outcome has yet been announced.
Probably will be announced tomorrow, I believe.
And Sosa will obviously have to abide by whatever the decision is rendered.
And they had representatives from both sides. Bob Dupay for baseball. They listened to what Sammy had to say. have to see what happens.
Carroll swings and misses at that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Were you surprised at all by the reception for Sammy? I mean, that was a big topic of discussion on a lot of the national TV talk shows.
I think Sammy is going to hear some boos on the road, but more than not, he's going to hear a whole lot of cheers because he's still one of the most popular players in the game, and that's not going to change. Yes, he's going to have some folks that are frustrated, disappointed, and a number of the other emotions that go with it. But all in all, we're in a society, Chip, where forgiveness is part of our fabric, and eventually that will be afforded to Sammy, and he was greeted fairly warmly tonight, especially by the folks in right center and right field.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and Eric went fishing, and the Cubs batsmen have struck out 7 times in the game. That's the first for Lightenberg, and Troy O'Leary the batter.
And I think that might be it for Lightenberg as Mike Hargrove goes to the mound. Buddy Groom throwing in the pen. This high fastball right by Karros, who is most unhappy to see Henkin leave the game because he's murdered him over the course of his career. So there's a look at Hargrove, who spent 8 years with the Cleveland Indians before coming over here to the Baltimore Orioles, and will step out, and we'll be back after these messages.
Introducing Rain-X Car Wax. The same transparent polymer technology that makes our windshield treatment so effective now keeps your whole car protected from rain, dirt, UV rays, and more. There's almost nothing Rain-X Wax won't protect your car from. Almost. New Rain-X Car Wax. Protection you can see.
Rejuvenate your 75,000-mile engine with Pennzoil high-mileage vehicle. The motor oil specially formulated for the needs of your...
It's been a tough week for me. Once again, I just want to apologize to everybody up there that the mistake that I make, and I just I wanted to say that thank you for all the fans and everybody to support me and motivate me, just keep it continue. Thank you.
Okay. That was Sammy Sosa's brief statement before the game today after his appeal was heard by Bob Dupay and Major League Baseball. And there's no one that's denying what Sammy Sosa did was wrong. But you've got to give him credit for standing up and admitting that what he did was wrong, and his response that he will accept the punishment baseball is going to give him. It's going to be a stern punishment. But those of you with young children ask what happens when you make a mistake like the one Sammy made. You accept the responsibility for your actions, and he's done that.
Buddy Groom comes in, and he's really gotten clobbered this year after a great year last year, which saw him appear in 70 games with a 1.60 ERA. A complete reversal this year. The ERA at 7.41.
A ball and a strike. O'Leary, a wild swing and miss. 1-2 your count.
Troy O'Leary has never hit Buddy Groom. Lifetime batting average of 160. It's 4 hits and 25 at bats, which is probably the reason why he's in. And Lenny Harris also in the on-deck circle. He's never seen Groom, so the appropriate move by Mike Hargrove. Let's see if the Cubs can take advantage of it.
1-2. That missed the corner. This is one of those situations where you'd love to have seen Bacon McBride in the batter's box. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. Cubs have the lead, and a swing and a miss. O'Leary down swinging. Cubs have had 2 men on a lot of innings, and they've been able to score just 4 times. Let's see if Harris can come through with a big 2-out hit.
Groom hangs this one and gets away with it. Heel wanted it low and away. He got it up and out over the plate. It's one of the reasons why he has that 7.41 ERA.
0 for 3, has yet to get the ball out of the infield. It took strike 3 his last time. He's in the dirt. Blue Jays 11, Pirates 6. Bottom of the 6th inning at Skydome. Toronto with 16 hits already in that game. And that's where we head next. Dodgers 1, Tigers 1 in the 5th inning at Comerica Park. Deo Nomo pitching for Los Angeles. Dodgers 6 games over 500, by the way, and they play tonight. Reds over Tampa Bay 3-2 in the 6th. Wilson pitching for Cincinnati. Aaron Boone is homered, as has Austin Kearns tonight. Giants have taken a 2-0 lead over the White Sox. Barry Bonds has homered. Rangers 3, Mets 2 in the 3rd inning down in Arlington. That catches the corner. 2 balls and a strike to Lenny Harris, getting the start at 3rd base for the Cubs. It's been Martinez and Harris for the most part over at the Hearts. A little shaky at times defensively, but he makes the play there. Cubs strand 2 more in the 8th, but lead 4-0.
You're inside the Fox Sports Net studios with this in-game update, and we want to get you caught up on the Sox and the San Francisco Giants at U.S. Cellular Field. And yes, Barry Bonds hitting the long bomb into the stands off of John Garland, number 629 for his career, and number 16 on the season. Right now is 2-2 in the top of the 5th. Chip and Steve, that's a fun series going on the South Side.
Indeed it is. And Cubs will be getting ready to face the White Sox when we get home from this road trip. 1 defensive change. Ramon Martinez is in at 3rd base. And Shawn Estes gives way after 7 shutout innings to Antonio Alfonseca, pitching now for the 18th time.
Alfonseca with an ERA of 3.12. And he comes in with a pretty good run at it. Opposing batters hitting just 206 against him. He'll go right to the top, and Roberts will turn around and hit from the left side, where he's a whole lot better. He also will face Segui as a left-hand hitter, where he's a whole lot better. So his work cut out for him here in the 8th inning, after just a gem of a performance by Shawn Estes.
2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 6 hits allowed from the Cubs starter, who's bidding to win his 6th game of the season. And Alfonseca, the first flamethrower out of the Cub pen, jumps ahead quickly at 0-1. Ground ball, base hit. So the Orioles, for the 2nd straight inning, have their leadoff man aboard. It's only, however, the 3rd time that's happened tonight. Here's Mora. He's singled, walked, and lined out to center. A fine running catch by Patterson entered the 5th inning.
And they've got some idiot out on the field, and they're asking security to take him off, so we will have a little delay in the action. And the security is a little slow out on the draw here in Baltimore. If you're Alfonseca, I think I would take.
You know what this guy was doing, Steve? I think he was throwing pieces of cork at Sammy Sosa. He was on his knees in right field, giving Sosa the salam like Cubs fans used to do to Andre Dawson, and he was rolling bits of cork at Sosa. And this was the question mark everyone would have. Certainly in Chicago, there's going to be the Sammy Sosa love fest. What would the reaction be to Sosa on the road? And a young man with the IQ of a Neanderthal walks out of the field and lets Sosa have it. The cork did not hit him. He was rolling it very softly on the grass. But the local Baltimore police took their time and now have escorted that young man out of the ballpark. Now the fans in right field down the right field line stand and give Sosa a standing ovation.
Well, what I'd like to see is Alfonseca take a couple of tosses. That's apparently what he's doing now. Eventually we'll get back to the ball game, and the Cubs only lead by 4, although they've out-hit Baltimore 12-7. This has been an errorless game. And Antonio has his work cut out for him because there's some guys in the middle of this lineup that swing the bat real well.
Well, here's the American League's leading hitter, Melvin Mora. Came in hitting .365. He's picked up a point. He's at .366 now. Strike one of the inside corner. Jorge Julio up for Baltimore. He's their closer. Mark Guthrie has grabbed the baseball for the Cubs. Baltimore's bounced into 2 double plays in as many innings. Another ground ball here would be nice. Or a strikeout. He's got him set up for that at 0-2. Two strikes.
One of the things that Antonio doesn't have to worry about, which he has to worry about playing a National League team, is that these guys don't run very much here in the American League, and the Orioles don't run very much at all.
Throw it right on by. Mora strikes out. Now you have Segui, but again, beware. He's a much more dangerous hitter, average-wise, from the left side of the plate.
One right down the middle, and he fools Mora. And Segui hitting .328 as a left-hand hitter. He came in hitting just .192 as a right-hand hitter. Now, he told me before the game he thinks he has more power from the right side, although you'd never know it by the numbers. All 3 of his home runs have come as a left-hand hitter.
And remember, the right field fence 318 feet away. There is, however, that very high wall out there. Hit it out almost onto Utah Street to circle the bases here. 1 ball, no strikes to Segui. Foul at the plate.
That one right off the mask of Paul Bacco, so he's shaken up. And with that, Terry Kraft out a couple of steps toward the mound to give Bacco a chance to clear his head. Take another look at it. Will shake you up.
That'll loosen the fillings too if you're not careful. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out. 4-0. Cubs have the lead.
Well, you just as soon not throw Segui anything inside, because with Gonzalez playing up the middle and Queiroz having to hold Roberts close, there's a huge gap on the right side. Try to force Segui to hit the ball the opposite way or to straightaway center field.
Broken bat, bouncing ball to second. And the Cubs get their 3rd double play in as many frames. And the shutout intact as we go to the 9th.
The car,
in the Harvard
Company, and by your Chicagoland Pontiac dealers.
Enough offense tonight in Baltimore. It's 4-0 going to the 9th inning.
A 444 goes hand in hand with an 0. He's a hard, and like a lot of these, Orioles had a real good year last year, but has fallen on hard times this year. Last year, in 67 appearances, the ERA was 1.99 and he had 25 saves. This year he's getting pasted.
He will face Paul Bacco leading off the 9th. Cubs try to win their first road shutout of the season. They have a 4-run lead. Julio misfires again to Bacco.
You've got Guthrie and Borowski throwing in the bullpen. Alfonseca with a very good 8th inning, culminated by the 3rd double play turned by the Cubs in the middle infield. It's been a very solidly played game. It's been an errorless game on both sides.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Pop back toward us.
Houston coming back at the Yankees. They trail by just a run. And unfortunately, it is a very vulnerable Yankee bullpen this year till you get to the end with Rivera who's just coming back off the disabled list and is not the Mariano Rivera we've seen in years past.
But as you know, the Yankees will be more than happy to go get whatever they need whenever they need it. Historically, they've been very busy dealers well before the July 31st trade deadline. And that figures to be the case again. They know, I'm sure, that getting to Rivera at the end of the game is a big problem for them. I don't think they can stick with that group and expect to hold anybody off long term. Paco down on strikes here in the 9th inning. Got to say this, though, the Yankees with Wells, with Clemens, with Mussina, with Pettit. Pretty good starting staff. It's tough to throw 8 every day.
They'll probably be very much in the market for some setup men. And they really don't care if they're right or left-handed. They'll take either at this point.
Gonzalez swings from his heels. Last chance for him to extend a hit streak to 6 consecutive games. The Cubs trying to go to 27-8 when they score 4 runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Clement and Omar Dahl hook up in game 2 of the series tomorrow. Back out of play. Marked down to his final 9th inning strike. No swing. Cardinals 7, Boston 2. That game, the 7th inning.
Albert Pujols is really heating it up.
Cardinals did get Joe Girardi and Jason Isringhausen back today, both activated by St. Louis. Cardinals entered play 2 games off the pace, 1 game behind the 2nd place Cubs. 3-2 the count to Mark.
And as wonderful a man as Joe Girardi is, the key in that twosome is, can Isringhausen close? Because if he can, the Cardinals will be tough to deal with. That's the one thing that's brought them back to the pack.
The pitcher's body, but Julio recovers and almost took too much time. Gonzalez thought he beat the play out, and Julio's hurt.
I don't think Julio realized just how badly he was hit until he went to throw that ball to first base, because he had plenty of time and lollipopped it over there and just barely got Gonzalez. He's hit awfully hard and he springs to it quickly, and then for whatever reason lollipops a throw to first. Richie Bancells, who was the assistant trainer when I was here many years ago, now is the #1 trainer, and he's out there taking a look and talking to him to find out if he's okay.
So Bauer will get back up into the Baltimore bullpen, and that looked like it got him on the inside of his left leg. Gene Clines and Gonzalez thought he was able to beat the play. And let's see if Julio's going to be able to continue here. Get a few warm-up tosses to make sure everything's in good working order. And anytime you see a pitcher get hit in the legs, you get very concerned. You think about Dizzy Dean back in the 30s. Got hit in the foot with a line drive, altered his arm angle, and was never the same pitcher again.
Well, Julio appears to be okay, and they breathe a sigh of relief here, because as many troubles as the Orioles have had at times this year, the one thing you cannot afford to lose is the man who closes for you. And although it hasn't been a great year for Julio, he still has 14 saves.
So he does have the bases clear now for Alex Gonzalez. Alex 1 for 2 with a home run and a run scored tonight. That pops away from Heel. 1 ball, no strikes. Joe Borowski up in the Cub bullpen. Joe, also a former Oriole.
Well, Alex has hit the ball as well as he's hit it in a long time. The first 3 times up, he hit it as hard as you can hit it. And a strikeout in the 7th inning, but all in all, a very good night for Gonzalez, who's keyed some double plays and now has another base hit.
3-hit game for him.
Maybe it's the American League Park where he spent so much time bringing out the best in him. he's had a very good night, and he's up to 258. 7 points on that batting average. An inside-out swing, takes the ball to right field, and keeps the inning alive for Corey Patterson, who's also had a big night.
He's tripled and scored, doubled, and he's made a couple of terrific catches in the outfield tonight. Defensively, the Cubs having one of their better games. Estes threw a gem. Cub offense, 4 runs, 8 hits through 3 innings, and that's been all they've needed to this point.
We also had a chance, Chip, to talk to George Will tonight as he stopped in the booth. A wonderful man who's a huge Cub fan. He was in Chicago, had a chance to have lunch with Dusty Baker. Talked with Andy McPhail. We saw them in the booth together. George is writing a book on the man who was the center fielder when I came to the big leagues. A guy by the name of Willie Mays, who a lot of people have heard of.
I asked George if he was part of Sammy's appeal tonight.
You could do a whole lot worse. This is one of the smartest men that I've ever talked to about whatever is going on in the country at any given time. Pleasure of working with Sam Donaldson all those many years.
2-1. Bouncing ball over first base off Conine's glove. Around second, heading to third is Alex. Patterson turns on the Jets. He'll slide in safely.
Jeff has both yours and my vertical leap. He was able to get, I'm sure, at least a ½ an inch off the ground that time, allowing Corey Patterson to double just off the glove. Watch it again as Corey with his third extra base hit, and Conine goes way up in the air that time. Allow that ball to sneak into right field. It's a pleasure to watch Corey Patterson run the bases. He does it so well and cuts the bases so cleanly that despite great speed, you realize there is an art in running the bases, and he does it exceptionally well.
It's been fun to watch that kid play the game. So many times we focus on what he doesn't do that sometimes you overlook the great things he does do. Defensively, he's having a Gold Glove caliber season. He runs the bases beautifully. He's hitting for power. He's hitting for average. He's moving up in the order. He's hitting third in front of Sammy Sosa. He's done it all this year.
Well, he's not going to be voted into the All-Star game, Chip, but you just have a feeling with every passing day that Corey best not make any plans for the middle of July when the All-Star game is played on the south side of town, because I'd have to believe with the numbers he's going to put up, Dusty Baker is going to meet with Bud Selig and the powers that be and possibly choose Corey Patterson to go to the All-Star game.
Well, here's Sammy Sosa. Here's a chance for him to answer the fan who tossed the cork at him in right field. He's got 2 hits in the game. Cubs could put it away with a knock here. And Sosa swinging for the downs, lofts it out of play. It's been a long time since Sammy's gone deep. May 1st in San Francisco. No balls and a strike, runners lead.
Sammy came an eyelash from going deep his first at bat in the second inning. He hit the top of the wall in left center field.
Stop by here.
That's the artistry of Rick Dempsey and his catching prowess, teaching Heel how to block pitches. He taught him to move, to keep his body in front, to make sure that his head is straight down. Last year he had a real tough year defensively.
2 balls and a strike. 98 and rising. That'll straighten your spine. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, if you hit this one, there's nothing you can do with it because it's helmet high. I would say he'd go right back with the same pitch.
Count even, 2-2, 2 on, 2 out. 4, 5, and 6 men are coming up in the Baltimore 9th. They, however, trail by 4. Giants with 2 outs. Julio strikes out his second man, and the Orioles come up for the final time.
Announcing the Ford-authorized tent sales.
Of Cubs baseball on Fox Sports Net is the very capable Pete Toma. Our game has been directed, as always, by Dave Turner. Our associate producer is Joe Corneo. Our production manager is Moheen Ramsey. Thanks for the shirts, Moheen. Our executive producer is Josh Wine, and the vice president of programming is Don Graham.
Joe Borowski comes into the ball game at 1-0, a fine ERA of 2.48, on for the 29th time. He does have 11 saves. This will not be his 12th, as he's in a non-save situation. And Joe once toiled for these Orioles many years back. And Chip, you remember that classic trade?
It's not too often a player can say he was traded for Pete Rose. Joe, of course, can't say that. He was traded for Pete Rose Jr. When the White Sox had him, they sent him to the Orioles in 1991. Then Borowski began his trek through the big leagues with Atlanta, the Yankees, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Newark, Monterey, and then now with the Cubs.
Well, he certainly has found a home in the Cubs bullpen, and they are very happy to have him. When your closer goes down, and that's exactly what happened with Antonio Alfonseca, somebody had to step forward, and that somebody was Joe Borowski. And you shudder to think where the Cubs would be without Joe this year, because he's been everything that anybody could have asked and more.
Two balls, no strikes. Looping line drive into left field. That'll drop for a hit. O'Leary over quickly. And Conine is aboard in the 9th inning. Cubs playing with fire 3 straight times in the last 3 innings. Baltimore's had the first man aboard in the frame.
Every time the Cubs have seemingly had some problems, they've been able to turn a double play. But Jay Gibbons tonight has had a perfect night. He's been the one Oriole they have not been able to retire. So he's been all that's advertised, and those pretty good numbers.
And a strike to Gibbons. The perfect night Steve alluding to. He walked in the 2nd, singled each in the 4th and 6th inning. Baltimore's wrapped into 3 straight double plays in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Another ground ball here would be nice.
Gibbons has grounded into 5 of them. The best pitch for Joe this year has been that backdoor slider. If you try to pull it, you're going to hit it in the ground at second base.
Popped him up. That'll be easy at short. And Gibbons will be out number 1 in the all-important 9th inning. Here's Batista. He's hitless tonight.
When the Cubs went on the road for the longest road trip of the year, there's a lot of people that said that this would be when the Cubs would fold the tent. Well, they went 8-5. Then when they struggled on the last homestand, their longest homestand of the year, a lot of people felt that this would be where the Cubs would pack it in. They went 6-6 and finished it with 2 series wins against Tampa Bay and New York. This becomes the critical road trip, and they'd love to start it off with a win. It's 10 games on the road in 2 American League parks, and then 4 with Cincinnati in what has become the liveliest offensive park in baseball.
And one thing about this team, they've shown they can win with Sammy Sosa. They've shown they can win without Sammy Sosa.
Well, they're going to have to win without him, because we know that it's going to be announced most likely tomorrow. Then Sammy will accept whatever the punishment will be, and the Cubs will once again be without their slugging star.
And after this road trip, Cubs are back home for another big emotional back-to-back set of weekend games. The White Sox at Wrigley Field, June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Then Milwaukee comes to town for 3 before the Cubs go to the South Side to play the White Sox. Cubs play the final game of June in Philadelphia. Leary makes the grab in left. Out number 2, Conine back first.
That ball hit awfully hard, but fortunately for the Cubs, Batista hit it right at Troy O'Leary. So the Cubs now 1 out away from starting this road trip on the right foot.
4-0 is your score. Now somebody in right field throws something at Sosa. And the grounds crew will come out and pick up that bit of debris. Not sure what it was. Earlier, a fan reached right field and bent to his knees and rolled corks at Sosa.
Well, you can't legislate intelligence.
Amen.
And regardless of what you think of what Sammy did, throwing things on the field or coming down on the field is absolutely ridiculous.
Got the right to say pretty much whatever you want.
But do it from the seats.
That's it. Ground ball to the left side. Alex fumbles, and it would have been a tough play regardless. Matos is aboard. That's his third base hit of this ball game. Second on the infield, and now Davy Cruz will hit.
Even if you field this one cleanly, I don't think there's anything you can do with it because you're not going to get the force out at second, and there's no way with the speed of Matos you're going to be able to throw him out at first. So the game continues, and the Cubs need that one lone out. They've had a lot of opportunities tonight to put this game away. 14 hits. They've squandered some scoring opportunities, and you've got B.J. Surhoff in the on-deck circle. If Cruz can keep it alive, Surhoff would represent the tying run.
Let's worry about him manana, and we will. A high fly ball into center field. Corey Patterson takes over, and the Cubs shut out Baltimore. Final score 4-0. Great start on the road trip as Shawn Estes wins his 6th game of the year. Pat Henkin takes the loss, and with one home run tonight by Alex Gonzalez, another $20,000 raised for prostate cancer research. Thanks for helping keep Dad in the game with the Cap Cure home run challenge. Great start to the trip, Stoney. 4-0 Cubs win.
Well, Shawn Estes was just terrific tonight, and the Cub offense scored their magic number. They got 4. The Cub pitching staff, which has done it all year, made it hold up. Defensively, the Cubs played very well. Gonzalez had a good night, and this one ends with the Cubs winning their first of 10 on the road. A great start to the road trip in a game where a lot of people thought the Cubs would have an emotional letdown after that huge series against the Yankees. It didn't happen largely because of what has been the Cubs' strength all year long, a very solid pitching staff.
And great defense behind Shawn Estes tonight, who is our Hyundai player of the ball game. Estes throws 7 innings of 6-hit, no-run baseball. Only 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Shawn, who made a couple of terrific stabs defensively. The breaking ball was his biggest weapon, and when he has that and the outside corner, he's awfully tough.
We talked about it before the game that Estes had to throw the curveball in the zone to be effective. He did just that and was just about as effective as you can get. The Cubs have their 4th shutout of the year, and the Orioles are shut out for the 3rd time in this ballpark, something that's not easy to do.
So the Cubs go to 8 games over 500. Gale winning 4-0, 35-27 the record, and of course we'll wait for the outcome of that Yankee-Houston game, which is in the 9th inning in the Bronx. In the meantime, what do you have coming up for us on the post-game show?
Oh, Chip, lots to talk about in the post-game show. We will have Cubs skipper Dusty Baker stop by and talk with us live, get his feelings on this game. And we also have Dave Otto out at Camden Yard, and he'll give us his thoughts. And yes, we will keep you updated on that Houston game and some other scores from around the league as we enter week 2 of interleague play. But first, let's send it back to Chip.
All right, Gail, thank you very much. Real crisp, real clean ball game. One of the best the Cubs played all season long. They beat Baltimore by a final score of 4-0. Tomorrow, Matt Clement and Omar Dahl will hook up in the middle game of the 3-game set. We'll have it for you beginning at 6 o'clock Central Time right here on Fox. And Stoney, again, welcome back to Baltimore.
Pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to see the Cubs play the type of ball game they played tonight because everything worked exactly to game plan.
Post-game show's coming up next. Good night, everybody.
Edmonds scores. Cal Eldred closed for his 8 save and 10 chances, and the Cardinals win the first of 3 at Fenway, 9-7. Hey, a reminder, Wednesday, ESPN and ESPN2 have Wednesday night baseball, 7 Eastern on ESPN. It's the Cardinals and Red Sox again at Fenway. Pedro making his return, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. The Astros are back at Yankee Stadium. 4 teams, 2 games, 2 networks. Great baseball Wednesday nights.
Pittsburgh at Toronto. Top one, Brian Giles has doubled off Corey Lytle, who lost his last 2 starts after going 7-0 in his previous 8, and he's down 2-zip after that Aramis Ramirez shot. Just a second home run hit by the Pirates cleanup batters this season, both by Ramirez. Just his third. Remember, he had 34 2 seasons ago. We go to the bottom of the second. 2 on. First base open for Carlos Delgado. You be Lloyd McClendon. Make the call on whether or not to pitch to the Interleague's king of swing, or you be Chris Benson. He decides to pitch to Delgado, who becomes the second player in the ML to reach 20 home runs and the first to 70 RBI. This game is tied at 5. Bottom 5, 8-5 Jays. Frank Catalanato, bat .417 in his last 9 games. He's taken Brian Meadows deep for his 6th. Jays win 13-8. Lytle gets his 9th win despite an ERA of .507. Pirates have lost 6 of 7. Cincinnati at Tampa Bay, Jose Guillen. Top one. The sinking liner to Rocco Baldelli. Oh, can't get enough of your glove. But what about your uniform? His teammates switched jerseys with the one that says Rocco instead of Baldelli on the back. Dude has 25 multi-hit games in the 59 he's played. Why are you messing with his uni? Well, after doubling to the bottom of the first, he had the Baldelli back on. Top 4, Austin Kearns ends a streak of 20 straight games without a home run. Hit 13 in his first 40 games, and that's his first since early May. Next batter, Aaron Boone, bartender. Back-to-back shots of Jack. Boone's 15th, 5th time this season the Reds have hit back-to-back shots. Bottom 4, bases loaded, 1 out. Paul Wilson pitches. Jason LaRue, snap throw to third, and Travis Lee looking for a hole to climb in. Tom Foley, third base coach, does not agree, and he's going to get the thumb. First base coach Billy Hatcher going to take over Foley. Terry Shumpert comes off the bench, coach first. Still tied at 2 in the 6th, and Guillen facing his former team for the first time. A Han Solo, his 11th. It's 3-2 Reds. Bottom 7, 2 on, 2 out. Lee singles to right. Aubrey Huff is going to round third. Is he wearing his PF Flyers? Guillen doing his Roberto Clemente. No! Inning over. Reds go on to win it, 4-2.
Spurs chairman Peter Holt addressing the season-long rumor that San Antonio wants to spend its $14 million in cap room next season on Jason Kidd, points out the key player we're losing is David Robinson, a center. Tim Duncan agreed, telling one newspaper with the Admiral retiring, the Spurs, quote, definitely need a big man. And as far as Kidd replacing Tony Parker in San Antonio's backcourt, Duncan said, I don't want to lose my man Tony. For more on the Spurs blueprint, here's Stuart Scott.
Welcome back to ESPN's continuing coverage of the NBA Finals. A Canadian Dr. Naismith invents an American game, and Frenchmen and Argentines like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are leaving their mark. Can't we all just get along? Well, in the Spurs locker room, the answer is, yo, dog, you my dog, shorty, which means yes. Tim Duncan and David Robinson, arguably the best big man tandem in the history of the game. Think about it. 3 MVPs between them. D-Rob once scored 71 points in a game. Some believe Duncan is the best fundamentally sound big man ever. And the ridiculous thing about what they've done, 2 NBA Finals trips in 4 years with a supporting cast that changes more than the turnstiles at a New York City subway. David Aldridge has the first of 2 reports.
Tim Duncan and David Robinson are the Spurs' unquestioned leaders, and they may have demonstrated that best this season by allowing their lesser-known teammates to grow instead of demanding to play with other stars.
The honest answer, which is usually the best answer, is that we're blessed with 2 guys that just trust us.
Tim and Dave are very accommodating superstars. They're not impatient at all.
Malik Rose and Manu Ginobili were both second-round draft picks. Bruce Bowen was viewed by many as just a defensive specialist. Steven Jackson came off the Spurs Summer League team, and Tony Parker was a virtually unknown 19-year-old French point guard when the Spurs took him in the first round last season.
Didn't know a thing about Tony. Not a thing about Tony.
But Duncan and Robinson have let the young players learn on the job, and they've let Greg Popovich coach them.
We see those guys want to win. They're committed to it.